So tonight we have on Adam, and technically we're also on his episode too. The way we're doing this. So, but we're also getting prepped for the spooky season. We're gonna kind of hit it off. We have a few things. I believe Adam, you were talking about some letterbox. And introduce yourself. Like, let's like all introduce ourselves.
Yeah. Shout outs to the dopeness. Shout outs Ricky Tang. No, I'm kidding. We're at the intersection of streetwear and culture. I'm like, okay, that's a good segue into what I do. I podcast digest. No, I'm always making stupid references to stuff like podcasts that nobody has listened to. Check out episode 1. That's probably my all-time favorite right now. I do this show called Friendship Emulator. It is a podcast, not about podcasts, but met you through the fish tank community, and it's been a lot of it about fish tank. But also we have a lot of similar interests. You mentioned up top horror. I like to talk about stuff like conspiracy theories and psychedelia on my streams and on the pod. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm also into retro video games, being like a Twitch person.
On.
And well, you just said a bunch of things I like.
Cool.
You were I think like when I first came across your account online, I was like, oh, Friendship Emulator, that is such a cool name.
Well, because Friendship Simulator is actually taken, and I've listened to a few episodes of that show. It's on Spotify. I probably would have called the show Friendship Simulator if these I listened to the first couple episodes, and I think a good way of describing them might be like gay Nazis. I mean that affectionately.
Okay.
No, they were making gay jokes and Hitler jokes on that show, which, you know, it's kind of funny, I guess.
Power to them, yeah.
I tried to reach out to them at one point. Whatever. I really like the idea of aleatoric art, chance operations. I'm not as into like John Cage as I used to be in my younger years, but one of my favorite musical artists, The Books, talks about it a lot. Sowing chaos, letting things happen organically online, I feel is an extension of that. Letting things be open sourced on social media. So that's kind of what I try to do as well.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You mentioned a couple names there I'm not familiar with.
Sorry. I do that. No, I'm very pretentious and heady.
Yeah, no, you're good. If you could back up and just fill me in on that, because I'm not.
Who did I mention?
You said these names and I can't remember right now.
Oh, John Cage is the guy. John Cage is the guy who made 4 minutes 33 seconds. Sam Hyde has talked shit on him, which I tend to agree with in the year of our Lord 2024, because so it's the boilerplate conceptual art of art that isn't art, a blank white canvas, but for sound. 3 minutes 44 seconds of silence, and then the real music is the incidental sounds of the cars outside the auditorium or whatever the fuck.
Okay, now I get now what you're saying.
Much like some like political trappings, it was an appealing idea to me in my younger years.
Or like you go into a new art museum. Yeah, you go into a museum and there's like a mirror and it's about you. And like reading into like whatever it is that you see back at I
think in my high school there was a production. I think there's a play called Museum that deals with the idea of blank white canvases.
Yeah. I was at the MoMA, and there was a tire that was shredded and stuffed with a bunch of Cheetos and Fritos discarded bags and trash.
Yeah.
And it was like sitting there, and it had like multiple $1,000 price tag. And I was just kind of like, okay. It was like the MoMA was like kind of fun, but also sad. I don't know. I just went there and I didn't.
Oh, how long ago did you go?
2000. 13, 14, somewhere in there.
Okay.
It was yeah.
I made a pilgrimage my senior year of high school there, and
Really?
I liked Francis Bacon.
Yeah. Yep.
I spent like half of the time in the building, like in front of that
Yeah.
painting. It's a
Yeah.
painting by Francis Bacon. It's insane.
How would you go about, even if you were to try to make a directorial style of Francis Bacon's paintings? Like, how would you even, like, it would be like the whole, man, how would you even go about it? Because you'd have to like
Okay.
pace.
This is me being pretentious and like want to be like hyper intelligent, but I've never read Thomas. I've read a little bit of Thomas Pynchon, maybe like one book. And I think he did one of his books was adapted, right? Inherent Vice. I feel it would be like a Thomas Pynchon story.
Oh. What's his name? The
Like kind of
three-name director directed
Paul Thomas
Inherent
Anderson.
Vice, didn't he? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I gotta see
Yeah.
it. I've never seen it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think I read. Sorry, what's that?
It's a great movie. I recommend.
Cool.
Joaquin Phoenix is great in it.
Oh, I haven't seen. I've seen Magnolia, and not a lot of PTA.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's on my. It's very high on my list, though. Speaking of Letterboxd,
Yeah.
but yeah, I read. I think The Crying of Lot 49. What is it by Thomas Pynchon? And it's very surreal and dark and spooky, but also slightly funny story from what I remember. And Francis Bacon, I don't know if you know about the Baconianism conspiracy theory with Shakespeare and
No, what's
Francis
that?
Bacon. I don't know if this is a thing, or if some random person just told me at one point in my life. But like Francis Bacon is Shakespeare, or Shakespeare is like
I've heard
conglomeration of
that
aristocrats.
I've heard that someone that was high in the political system in England at the time had a pen name of
Okay.
pen name of I thought you were wait, which Bacon are we talking about? Are we talking about
this bacon? Or
I'm
this
talking about
bacon?
that Bacon. No, I'm talking about
This artist bacon? Or this
oh man, hold on. There's too many Bacons in here.
Francis
The
Bacon, are there
artist
two
of-
of them? Was I fooled by history?
Oh my God, there's more.
There are two.
There's an artist.
There's the artist Francis Bacon. Okay, so have you
They're
seen
not the same
this-
person. Yeah, that's the artist.
Okay. So this is the other Francis Bacon.
Why
So
would I
apparently-
think they were the same person? He's dressed like a
Because
caveman.
yeah, exactly. But I have heard the same thing, that he used a pen name, Shakespeare, and in fact the guy that couldn't make it today, he wants to do an episode on this whole thing about that the guy is really not Shakespeare and like all that conspiracy theory. Yeah.
That's aleatoric art, just by happenstance of them having the same name. We got into a different topic.
That's so funny.
That's beautiful.
I'm the uncultured swine here. I'm like, I feel like I've heard of Francis Bacon, the
Yeah.
the much older Francis Bacon.
Dude,
The one who's dead.
I watched The Artist.
They're both dead.
I watched the documentary about Francis Bacon, the artist. That is a messed up life. That guy.
When did he live?
Oh, let me.
He lived he was prominent like in the 50s, wasn't he? 50s, 60s.
Okay, yeah, he
But
seems
his
like
childhood-
Chuck Palahniuk era.
Yeah.
Or no,
his-
not Chuck.
his,
What? Jackson Pollock. Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh yeah, but his childhood was extremely abusive, like super. And a lot of that came out into
Yeah,
his
this
art.
looks like an abusive childhood.
Yeah, but I believe he
It's
died
horrifying.
he died from I forget what he died from, but it was like a really bad death. It was
He died in '92.
okay.
Let's see.
He was in a very bad place when he passed, but
I didn't.
he was like living that he was like living in dilapidated apartments with heroin addicts and constantly
nice.
stuff was being robbed and yeah, it was like he was in that condition when he
Okay, so he had chronic asthma. But he died of a heart attack. Yeah. Oh no. He
Damn.
died of a heart attack at age 82 and bequeathed his estate, which was valued at 11 million pounds. Or is that euros? That's euros.
Wow.
I don't know why I thought it was pounds. It's definitely not pounds. to his heir and sole. I can't. Legati. Why can I read this word? Anyways, but yeah, he died of a heart attack.
Mm.
I've never heard of this person.
It's
before.
aleatoric art and also my own stupidity, I should say. I always make mistakes like that. Like I used to think that the guy who I thought Spike Lee and Fatboy Slim were the same person because Spike Lee like starred in that music video.
That just makes me want to watch the Christopher Walken music video.
There's Spike Lee.
Big time.
What is that? What is that song called that he was
Weapon
in?
of Choice.
Yeah, flying around. Man, that was good. Why did I want to know the story of how he got that? How he got into that music video? That would be a story.
This is Fatboy Slim.
Apparently, it is.
Fatboy Slim is a white guy, and then
No, I like bet someone
Spike
one
Lee
time.
is-
No, that's the guy.
Oh, this is a very
No,
different
sorry,
look.
not Spike Lee. Spike Jones. He's the director.
Spike Jones.
did.
Okay, hang on.
See,
Oh,
there I did
yeah.
it again. Just someone else talk for a little bit, please.
Jones with a Z, the director.
Yep, he did.
Or-
He did the Fatboy Slim music videos. I had him on DVD,
Yeah.
but he starred in one of them as a
What
director.
you seem like you would know. What do you think about Chris Cunningham's music videos? I'm still trying to figure out how to do those practical effects, kind of.
I had that DVD too. Those three, the original three. Yeah. Wasn't he gonna come out with a feature-length film at some point? Did that ever happen?
I don't think so. Once in a blue moon, I think of him and I Google him, and it's still like stuff that he did for Aphex Twin, and
Yeah,
So
it's so
it's-
weird.
yeah.
I wonder what happened.
man.
But yeah,
I don't know.
I like the Bjork music video. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And a lot of
With,
practical effects. I
Rubber
guess he
Johnny.
knows.
Rubber
He probably
Johnny.
knows how to like what do you call it? Fabricate all different types of plastic. And
Yeah,
give them
it's like
different
that,
sheens
but
and stuff.
like they were. This was like pre, Premiere. This was pre, certain types of software. I mean, they had this software, but it's like he came out of that era where they did everything super analog, and he was just like unbelievably gifted. It's kind of like, why did Rob Dugan drop off the? He came in, made one album that was so great that The Matrix Reloaded basically made it their album, and then he disappeared and started a vineyard, and then like a year ago or something, he started producing music again.
Or I was gonna mention
in the
Tool
City
for
of
some
Death.
reason.
I got no options left. Sorry,
Maynard
what?
James. I was just thinking Maynard James Keenan off for some reason because he fucked off into the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing with the wine vineyard.
He did. I
He did.
friends
He did.
that had tried the one.
Yeah, isn't he just doing Pussifer? I'm always scared to say that name, so I'm saying this.
He actually came through the area and performed in Pussifer as well as A Perfect Circle in the same show.
Weird. Okay.
Cause like, I think that was back in April, and I was just like, so you're just gonna watch Maynard twice? That's,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, because it's now Pussifer has a different sound than A Perfect Circle. I feel like A Perfect Circle and Tool have very similar. They're pretty, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm.
I got more of the
uncultured.
sound. No, I got more of the sound of Tool than Perfect Circle in my head, because I didn't really listen to that much to them.
I haven't listened to a lot of Perfect Circle.
I haven't listened to a lot of
just couple things.
Pussifer.
Pussifer. I don't know if it's Pussifer or Pussifer.
I'm not sure. My friend
It sounds like a expletive in some other language.
Really
Maybe
into
that's the
Pussifer,
joke.
Calls it Pussifer. Yeah. What's her face? Oh my gosh, the actress. She plays in the Resident Evil movies. I can't think of her name.
Oh, Mila Jovovich.
What? Mila Jovovich?
Yeah,
there we
you
go. She sang in a Pussifer song
Yes.
over like probably 15 years ago. I don't know at this point.
I got a pistol in my. Yeah, I know the song. I know the song.
I fell off it. Pussifer. I've only like heard like one or two songs. But yeah, I have some friends that are very much into Tool, and they met the artist that did like a lot of the Tool album covers, like Alex Gray. Is that his name?
Oh yeah.
And they have like a framed
There
piece
you go.
of art of his.
Ties into psychedelics.
Alex
Yes,
Gray is
you know
cool.
who I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those guys I used to follow sometimes too, because he made their website, I think.
Yeah.
It's weird when these guys start making temples.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I just-
Like I'm super into like certain characters until they like start a movement. Then I'm out.
Oh dear.
Like I know we have one guy that we very much enjoy named Brian Johnson. He has a whole thing about longevity, and if he just stuck with the data, but now he's like, I'm gonna start a revolution. And it's like, dude, we don't need any more cults. Just like publish your blood work, and we're all gonna like get healthier. Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
he kind of politicized it, you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
We haven't finished the video yet.
Okay.
I know,
So we
I
gotta
know the
have a
guy.
final verdict.
I know who you're talking about.
So sweet. He seems like a little sweetheart. You're like, oh, that's nice. He's so nice.
yes, and for the record, I really do like him. He's done a great job at making your own healthy lifestyles accessible, but and evidence-based, like corrections and health span. But I'm not upset at him. It's just every now and then when he's talking about like when you have like exclusive dinners and you're sitting in the lotus position talking to people saying it's going to change their life, it's like maybe the data will, but like if we put it in those wrappings, you're going to have like the 30 Seconds to Mars guy and his
Oh my god.
island
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, I have some friends that they're 30 Seconds is touring apparently right now with AFI, and I'm a AFI fan. I was gonna go to the show only to see AFI. I could give 2 fucks less about 30 Seconds to Mars.
We chose to be here with you guys tonight.
We chose. No, I really didn't want to go sit
Aw.
Oh
outside.
my
and-
god. I feel so
But,
honored by that, actually.
But yeah, Jared Leto is a weirdo for sure. And
Well, yeah, he's
I don't
gonna
know
put
why
the
so many women.
he's gonna stick the Hypnotoad on you. You made the right choice.
No, so I just don't know why so many women are into him. I don't get
I
it.
don't get it. It's
Yeah,
so
he's an
weird.
ob-
He's a weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, he's I guess, like, an objectively, I don't know, I don't find him attractive, but there's,
Yeah,
like,
I
nothing
guess
attractive
yeah.
about him. Like,
I mean, he's a symmetrical statue of a man, but the problem is fuck Island. Like that's
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
that's the I think
Yeah,
once
that'll do it.
and the white clothes.
The clothes was, yeah. Well, Kanye did that.
and- yeah,
True.
that's true.
Kanye is just not, a very special brand of autism that I really like. Like Kanye can't do too much wrong in my book, but that's just me.
We've decided that a lot of people are just very autistic. We've decided Marilyn Manson's autistic to a very much so.
Oh yeah.
We've decided that.
Has anybody seen his comeback music video?
Oh no,
No?
I saw. Are you a fan? Are you being for real?
Yeah, I am a fan.
Yeah. I mean, he was speaking of Kanye. He was at Donda. You know, the event that we refer to as Donda.
Yeah, the Dom de 2.
The Domda.
I thought that
Yeah,
Kanye was gonna like commit suicide when he did that album release and he put himself on those wires. Thought it was all a ploy
That was
to
a bit
like
weird. Yeah. That was a little
Yeah.
sus.
I mean, he did write a song saying, what is it? You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. But the song is beautiful. But it seems like there is a theory out there that he's been hinting at that for quite a while, and it's based on that Japanese pop artist that actually did it, and hinted to it. And so when he went and did Kids See Ghosts over and was like super into the Japanese stuff, he I think somehow he talked about her, or there was some association where that idea was there, and then he wrote that song where it's like you'll miss me when oh man, is it In the Life of Pablo that he sings? I can't remember. It's a super pretty song.
Are you
it's
talking
really, the
about
lyrics are
Ye?
depressing.
The Ye album?
Yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe I am.
Like the beautiful moments or the darkest or whatever. I thought about killing you, but I thought
No.
about killing myself.
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
It was a song about him jumping out a window. But
Oh.
but
Okay, that might be
it,
on the new one. No?
it might be on Vultures.
Yeah.
Maybe so, but there's been a long theory that he would do that. Like, there's a bunch of YouTube videos you can find where people are breaking that down.
There's the Clonia conspiracy theory too. But I have a way to bring that back to the idea of horror and maybe getting into horror movies, because you're talking about a Japanese you're not talking about like Suicide Club director, are you?
No, this was a pop artist that like couldn't handle some aspect of her life, and so people were making a lot of parallels to Kanye at the time.
But she kind of incorporated her own suicide into her art before it happened. Is that what you're saying?
I want to say that, but I'm not. Don't quote me on it. But I want to say that.
Well, here's my question: is the reverse of like telling you the details about? We talked about me telling you the details of this horror movie that I was trying to remember the name of. I'm looking for a movie that may or may not exist, and what it is Suicide Club. But instead of it being a suicide club where everyone conspires to commit suicide, it's just a bunch of fucked up people in a fucked up place who keep killing themselves because their friends are killing themselves. And I just think a movie like that would be insanely sad and fucked up and good.
Yeah, but I would definitely watch it.
So you're saying you're not trying to find a film you forgot the name of. You want to make this.
Or if it exists, I want to watch it for surezies.
You should watch Green Room.
Is that the acid one?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not necessarily suicide, but it's really fucked up, and it's a bunch of like
art. It might even be on my letterbox.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of punks and art house students that get
Harmony
locked
Korine or no the other guy.
I don't know names.
The guy who did
Patrick Stewart's in it. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
This one.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
It has Sir Patrick Stewart.
I hope that's the one I'm thinking of, because now that I'm looking at screens, I'm not sure. But you mentioned the LSD thing like you knew what I was talking about, because I think we're thinking of the same movie.
It's Gasper Noé or Harmony Korine. I get them confused. Because they're both kind of fucked up, but Harmony Korine is obviously more like twee, right?
What has happened? This is the second time this happened tonight. First the bacon thing.
It's a movie that I've definitely been present for discussions about this movie.
Okay. Okay.
But I did not know Patrick Stewart was in it. That's crazy. I thought it must not be Harmony Korine.
Let's see, I'm looking at Harmony Korine's. Oh my gosh, Harmony Korine did Gummo. I couldn't even finish that movie. My friend and I were trying to, like, her husband put it on, like, oh, you gotta watch Gummo. This was like earlier this year, and I'd heard of it before, and man, that movie's just fucked up.
Hey, let's all have a movie night, watch Gummo and Green Inferno.
No,
It's happening.
absolutely not. There's this
Okay,
movie,
tell
Just
me.
grab a drink. It's fine.
Speaking of horror, there's this film that I have not finished before. It's called Begotten.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh Lord,
scared
yes.
the ever-loving shit out of me. Seth tried to show it to me like over 10 years ago, and I said, fuck no, absolutely. I would like, you can just tell him, I would get so fucking scared.
Oh yeah, it would like really bother her to the core.
I just couldn't handle it. Now, I think I was like much younger then, but I think I could handle it now.
Yeah.
But
the premise is a bunch of gods descend upon a planet and start killing themselves to give birth to children. And what's crazy is it's extremely similar to the opening of Prometheus, like the premise at least. But it's a weird art.
Baxter Jones in the chat says, "Good evening, y'all. How's it going?"
Hey, Baxter.
good evening.
I saw you were playing Resident Evil 5, and I think that people were way too harsh on that game. It wasn't 4, obviously, but it was good. It held up. Everybody was like, it's just a first-person shooter, blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
RE5,
Speaking of...
Yeah. Like, when it came out, people were really complaining about it, and I actually just enjoyed myself playing it.
Remember that video I was trying to explain to you? Like, when I was talking about Begotten? There was a video posted to... it originated on 4chan, and it was around 2009. And it's called The Grifter. and I did not like that video either because you showed it to me.
I did? I don't even know. I don't.
We'll have to watch it later because it's only like a minute long. It's just like a room, and it's just really eerie and spooky. And I'm a big baby apparently, or I was. I'm less of a baby now, but
The story checks
There's
out.
no shame in being a
I
baby.
found something on 4chan.
yeah, this one, he would we would just sit together and like look through 4chan, which was what a great date night.
I'm rarely on 4chan anymore, just for everyone's FYI. It was just like this weird time in my life where I didn't leave the house and I drank, and I was on 4chan the entire time.
Yeah.
I think everybody goes through that once.
And then we ended up on 4chan. We ended up on 4chan after when Greg was here or after Greg left.
Oh, yeah.
And I did not see that coming, and I was like, no, thank you. No.
Damn.
So that was a strange time. Because I was like, I left 4chan behind because I very much did not enjoy 4chan. I thought I can never get rid of that chainsaw video. It's like permanently scarred into
Oh, yes, the chainsaw video.
forever.
Some fans just never leave you.
It sounds like everyone's experience of 4chan, which is a
Yeah,
website that I've
just-
never heard of and don't know anything about, for the record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Fish
the
Tank,
internet is
Season
such
3.
a strange, awful, terrible, wonderful place, and I'm just like, I don't even know how to feel about the internet.
Yeah. That kind of...
Heavy
that
on
kind
the
of plays-
terrible.
Yes,
I
very
think,
much.
I think that if there were almost no, like, you know, like, oh, you know how, like, ad agencies are like, no, you can't do this, or like some platform has some agenda or whatever, so it's like really hard to make anything because you're always violating some rule of some kind. I feel like if there was none of that ever, the entire internet would just be 4chan. It would
Please
be
don't say that. That
it would
makes
be
me lose faith
it would be
in humanity.
well, I mean, it goes like part of me is like I really like the anarchy of 4chan. I love it. But there's another part of me that is like there needs to be some order. And those two have always like clashed because you get onto like all these different platforms that billion-dollar corpos own and everything, and there's a lot of order and structure, huge infrastructure, and everything works. And then you get to the 4chan side, and it's still 4chan. Like,
I've had a similar experience in like the job market, where there's like a give and take with like small businesses employing you and big ones. You kind of want something in the middle a little bit.
Yes. Corporate jobs are rough.
They are.
But there's like less
And-
oversight over what independent or locally owned businesses do sometimes, in my experience.
Yeah.
no, you're right about that. It all depends on management, if they're cool or not, or what their business practices are.
In the chat, Baxter Jones has a very interesting question. Is 4chan like Reddit?
Depends on how you
Not
space your
quite.
posts. Got him.
Not quite.
4chan is more unhinged than Reddit. Reddit wants to be as unhinged as 4chan.
Yeah, it was there
Apparently
once,
Reddit
but
is
unfortunately, some communities have been deleted to my sorrow, to my great sorrow, and it's getting even more and more bland.
Oh no.
Yeah, what I heard that there was a bunch of purges lately
In Reddit?
because they
I've
went
seen
public,
them.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, they went public on the stock market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they have all kinds
You
of
can get
rules
rented
now.
stonks?
You
Ooh.
can.
Dude,
Heckin'
I just
epic.
remember I just remember there was like a Reddit like thread. I guess I'm not on Reddit, so I don't really know how it works.
I envy you for that.
I mean, I've been on Reddit because I would like have a specific question and it would just link me to Reddit. I'm like, okay, and then it would try to make me sign in. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to make an account. But there was like the Reddit threads where it's like if you click a link, it could be a cute picture or the disgusting, awful thing, and I can't remember what it's called.
50-50, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And I was just like, I don't want that in my life. And then there's things like what, 8chan?
Yep.
And 8chan is supposed to be worse than 4chan, right? Which I didn't think it was possible.
Right? How is that possible?
Is it worse or no?
It is. it's just like more underground, and like stranger people are attracted to it. It's a smaller website. I don't know if it's still
it's
running.
Gone through
It
some
was
phases.
running.
It was like banned at some point, and then moved ownership or something.
Yep. And
But they
then
created
a lot of the
is what I hear.
yeah, well, a lot of the QAnon stuff moved to 8chan. Like that was one of the things.
That's
and
where
I
it lived,
believe
yeah.
that. Yeah, and so yeah, you're a layer below 8chan, and you need a Tor browser. So,
Dude. Yeah, it's not. It's.
is it up?
No, it's down. I think.
Well, it's probably like Kiwi Farms. It's probably like such a like small operation. It's up and down constantly.
Well. Yeah, it says it's active. Maybe I just am not
I just
finding
want to
it.
state for the
Maybe
record, I also don't
I'm
know what
kind of-
Kiwi Farms is. Never heard those words in my entire life.
I've never participated in Kiwi Farms either, but I very much know what it
I
is.
literally don't know what you're talking about.
Good.
You don't?
Keep it that way. Keep it that way.
The
Kiwi
long-
Farms is not the healthiest platform online. I'm sure there's
Oh,
but
really? You don't want to read
definitely-
3,000 pages about the
You know what?
the dream
I can't
scandal?
say-
Wait, who's
I
the
can't
who's
say I've
the
had
guy?
the pleasure.
Who's that guy who? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I wanted you to finish. your thought.
Shane Dawson.
Oh Lord.
Oh no.
I'm gonna cover my cat's ears right now.
Well, no.
I do have a surprise for Lily. Hold on.
Oh Lord.
I don't think Shane Dawson is on Kiwi Farms. To be fair, it gets so much worse than that.
Man, I watched all that drama unfold when he was hanging out with Jeffree Star and all that, and I was like, why is everybody just so messy,
Trashy. Yeah.
mentally ill, crazy,
Greedy. Unstable.
greedy? Oh my gosh, I know what the surprise is, Lily.
Oh. Wait, what is this?
Oh my god!
Wait. Oh my god, hold on.
Do you have
Is
the-
that Sonic
Was
Chew?
that medallion
It
from the
is.
movie yours?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm kind
Oh
of
my
obsessed
God.
with
It's
it.
not Greg's. I thought it was Greg's medallion.
no,
No.
it's
He
his.
Oh my
just wore it.
God.
Straight from the
Original-
source.
It is original Chris Chan medallion. Like
Oh, yeah.
Chris Chan
Signed
made it.
and everything.
And
Yeah.
It's
No,
not the one
I promise you, I freeze framed that scene to see if there was something written on the back of it.
There is. There
And
is
I
in the
wouldn't
case
know
with-
that except for I've been learning these things recently.
Yeah. All right, hold on. So yeah, it's got all the fake game
Oh my
console
God, stop
advertisements.
it.
So you can go
This is ridiculous.
on the shop now, and this is something that I've been wishing, because I have the e-comics all downloaded on a
Yeah.
file. I don't want to flip through on a PDF.
Yeah.
But finally it's up on the Etsy, on the official
Oh
Etsy.
my Lord, this is
issue
beautiful.
0. He's got issue 0, 1, 2, and 3. I really want to do a live reading of these.
Yes.
so down. I'm so down.
I want to like
Absolutely, yes.
get Seth in front of a fireplace or
Yes.
just any kind, and just like get like a dad robe of some sort with like one of
Yes.
those robes that's like got the little like
Fluffy.
Yeah. My one
Yeah.
one cigar for the year. I get to read the
Yes.
Christian Chronicle.
yes, and
Some
it would
jazzy
be so...
piano in the back, a wine, a glass. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. For Seth, it would be kombucha.
Mhm.
How about some like Mozart?
I get too
something?
rowdy. I can't. I'm not allowed to drink anymore. It's a self-imposed rule.
It's good. It's healthy.
He's also got some Chris Chan jail art and
Yes.
some an original Chris Chan piece of art, and it is on the side of the bed that I sleep on. So when it's like on a it's like hanging between a shelf, and when I'm putting my things on this shelf, I'm like, okay, I have to look at that every night.
Yeah. The
Sweet dreams.
the prison art is like those styrofoam cups that the bottom was torn off on, and like a medallion kind of design.
whatever it is.
Oh my
That he
god.
has now.
Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah.
Straight from prison. I mean, I feel like when I bought those, I'm like, this is super niche, but it matters, and it will be valuable one day. Dude,
Oh
the
my
angry
God.
the angry-eyed Sonichu, the original one, went for thousands of dollars on eBay the other day.
That's crazy.
There's one where the eyes are yellow, and it was when Chris was going through something. He made like an angry Sonichu medallion, and that was somebody had that, just that they were just sitting on for a long time, and it popped up on eBay, but it was thousands of dollars.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. I just love the Comic Sans font. And this is, I think, my favorite page so far.
Gorgeous.
It is.
Oh my God,
it is a
that's
piece,
beautiful.
It's art. It's art.
It's something.
I mean,
never on an
actually
aesthetic
read
level, I honestly do wish that there was more stuff out there that was like I know I use this word, I overuse this word, but like twee and like colorful and like I've always liked line drawings, just in general.
Yeah.
Colored line drawings are always good. People literally don't do that stuff anymore with their hands.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
She's been trying to get me to watch a few anime series lately, and my whole problem with any modern anime or any animation in general is the computer. It's like computerized. It's the old stuff from the 80s that I love, or like what we were watching Cowboy Bebop the other night. It's like all that hand-drawn, really good, like they were tip of the spear in their industry, and they made some great stuff.
Yeah, a lot of
so much more
anime
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anime from the 80s and 90s, there's a lot of it that still holds up. It's like Cowboy Bebop looks great, and it's over 20 years old, and so does Evangelion, which is also well over 20 years old as well. And a lot of times now, okay, when they hang on, let me breathe for a second, because I like anime. And I'll get started. Okay, so I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan. It's like it was my first official anime. Sort of. I watched Samurai Pizza Cats first, technically, but when they were rebooting the series and created Sailor Moon Crystal, which is a retelling. It's just like a word for word, pretty much for the most part, of the manga. Let me push up my glasses here, because the original Sailor Moon anime, the manga wasn't done, and they had to just have the Monster of the Day stuff, and like they just stretched out to over 200 episodes. There's a whole season arc or whatever that's not even in the manga. Anyway, so they made Sailor Moon Crystal, which is just a retelling. It's just the manga, pretty much. And this is like millions and millions of dollar franchise, I'm sure. Like Sailor Moon's a big deal, just like Dragon Ball Z and all that. And they couldn't even have the fucking budget to properly animate Sailor Moon, like the first season and the second season of Sailor Moon Crystal. I was so pissed. It looked like garbage. And then they clean it up in the Blu-ray release. And they're just like outsourcing like these artists. It's not like, most of the time they're not in an anime studio. They're just like outsourcing like people that are just working from home to draw different scenes. And it's all done on the computer, and it just looks like garbage. They finally fixed it in the later seasons, but it still isn't quite as nice as like the original 90s anime, even though that also had some budget issues. Anyways, I could go on. I'm gonna stop.
Sailor Moon Crystal was like early 20-aughts, mid 20-aughts.
Yeah, it's like 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not. It's about 10 years.
Digital art was not doing great. I feel like as long as people aren't being really like dumb with AI stuff in like a way that makes it obvious. I hate just like cursed looking AI stuff. It's kind of better now, like the digital art. There was like an awkwardness to the way that aged. I think that era, 2010 around, with like I like a Space Dandy. I think that was kind of around that time.
I'm pretty sure the same.
It's definitely not like celluloid, but.
Well, Space Dandy, I think, was done by the same person who, like, maybe a director as Cowboy Bebop.
Okay,
And I didn't finish Space Dandy, but it's great. And then,
but I like the old stuff too. Like, the hand-drawn stuff. Lupin the Third,
yes, oh my gosh,
Lupin. Yeah. Have you ever seen what do you call it? Direct-to-video thing called Apple Bottom or something?
Appleseed?
Appleseed. That's the one, yeah.
hang on.
I know what you're talking about.
I've only watched some of it.
It's pretty good, and it's like less than 90 minutes long, an hour and 15, and it has an incredible soundtrack. It's got like, if you like the stuff that like vaporwave kind of shit samples.
Yeah.
It's very like city pop, like Japanese city pop kind of shit.
I like city pop. Yeah. I will say there are some animes that are computer animated that look great. Like, I didn't finish it, but I watched some of Trigun Stampede. That looked fantastic because it's the same studio that worked on Beastars, which also looks fantastic.
Are they one of those? They do like crazy stuff with like the camera angles where it's like, I'm a snake.
I think so. And then also Land of the Lustrous, which is also the Studio Orange did Land of the Lustrous, Beastars, and Trigun Stampede. I'm pretty sure they did Trigun Stampede. And they're a fantastic like 3D or computer animated anime studio, and it looks really well. It's like really fluid, really smooth. I know it's for some people it's probably jarring to see at first, but Land of the Lustrous is gorgeous. They didn't, as far as I know, they have not made a second season, which is very unfortunate because it's a great show.
Is that like a sexy anime?
No, it's
steamy.
It's about.
It has like the lust in it.
No, it's like they're. How do I explain it?
I don't know.
They're based off of minerals and like gemstones. It's not Steven Universe, I promise you.
I was gonna say Steven Universe, but
It's I'm trying to find a synopsis.
More like green. What is it? Green Lantern sorcery, but
maybe
futuristic.
It's set in the far distant future where the Earth has been struck by 6 times by meteorites, ravaging it in its process. All of the remaining land was reduced to a single coast, and nearly all life was destroyed. Over vast stretches of time, a new race of sentient life forms emerge, the immortal jewels that take the form of people. So, like, the main character is Phospholite, or Phos.
It sounds like Steven Universe for adults. It sounds kind of good.
It's so good. I know it sounds like weird. It's such a beautiful story, and it's just really, it's so good. We should watch it sometime.
Okay, I'm done.
It's only 1 season but there's a manga. I like manga a lot more than anime now, just because anime's been just disappointing. But yeah, I could go on about anime.
Have you ever seen The Cat Returns?
Yes, that's a great one.
I have a few animes on my list, and that's one of them. It's like a newer one that's like not too bad. But like celluloid animation is American too. Like, do you guys like Hanna-Barbera?
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, another American-made, computer-generated, I guess, anime. I guess it's defined as an anime. Is RWBY, especially in the newer season.
Yeah.
RWBY is fantastic.
I haven't heard of it.
I never really gotten into it.
It was Rooster Teeth that did this show. It's on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's on another platform, but
it's anime?
really the first. It technically is,
like,
but it's like an American-made production.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth is chill.
It feels wrong to call it a cartoon, but it's like in that in between.
And the newer seasons, I can't remember which season I stopped on because I stopped. I don't know, maybe it was season 4. I don't know how many seasons there are, honestly. I'm behind on it, but the animation just improved even more so. So the first season's a little bit rough to look at, but the story's good. At least I enjoyed it. I don't know if you enjoy RWBY, but
so is it still going on even with, because Rooster Teeth they shut off, right? They closed down. It's
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with RWBY because Monty Ohm, who created the series, passed away like years ago. But yeah, apparently maybe it's, I don't know. It concluded last year apparently. Oh wait, no, that was volume 9.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know what's going to happen with RWBY. Oh, okay. It found a new home as of a month ago, apparently. So it is now
interesting
under, I don't know, some other company. I'm going through Viz Media, I guess, is going to take it on because it's a really popular series. Anyway, sorry, we can go back to like not anime bullshit now because I could.
I mean, that ties in. No, it ties into stuff like, for instance, like you're talking about Hanna-Barbera. I've always thought that that American era, the love letter for it was like Venture Brothers. So people that like were either grew up with it or were just like so enamored by all these weird worlds and Scooby-Doo-esque. And there's a Instagram account called Goobyscapes that posts all the background art that was used during the series. It's just like a giant feed of Scooby-scapes. But yeah, no, Venture Brothers did it right with, they had their independent lore, but they had these tendrils that went into all those old series.
Wait, did they have access to the libraries when they were making it? Is that what it is? Or they were just doing homages to it?
It was just homages. I mean, the you've got C-Lab 2021 or whatever. That was licensed.
And the other one, Harvey Birdman, which I'm a big fan of. I think I like that more than C-Lab almost.
Attorney at Law.
Hey, did you get that thing I sent you?
Wait.
It's the live relation. Did you get that thing I sent you?
It has been so long. And then the Brack show.
I was a big fan. I had that the Space Ghost soundtrack.
Yeah, dude. I remember the first time I watched Space Ghost Coast to Coast. It was before Adult Swim was even on. I was like in elementary school. This was like mid-90s. And I had no fucking clue. That was the first time I saw Bjork. Because she was a guest.
Bjork and Tom York.
Yeah. And like, I was like 7 or 8 years old. And it would come on like really late at night. And I was just like, because I would just like stay up late, and I was like, "What is this? This is weird."
Isn't that in the goal of having kids one day? I want to not have them anywhere near Adult Swim, but there are these like defining moments of my childhood that was very sheltered and very protected that I later in life very appreciative for. But there were these moments where, you know, like you sneak down and you like watch Adult Swim, or you go on vacation and there's a cable, and then you go find the TV that's furthest away from the folks' room. So you like you're watching like way past your bedtime at an age you should not be watching. Yeah. And it just made these just wonderful childhood moments for me.
That's a generational shift thing, big time, because I'm not watching Smiling Friends and I don't understand like what is going on.
What
like
is
Adult
that?
Swim it's like the Adult Swim
it's a new
show now. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand what's going on with Adult Swim now, but it really was when it first came out, like all kids out of the pool, like it's your parents are bad people. They would literally just say like, your parents are bad people if you're letting you watch this right now, just so you know. They would like mog you.
Yeah, it was like almost it's also so brilliant marketing. Like it's so it's such a edgy, like especially if you're like about to go through puberty or whatever, it's the edginess of that brand is just such a magnet.
Yeah.
Man.
I started watching Adult Swim when it started. So I was probably about 11 when that came out. Mm-hmm. I should not. My poor home movies are great.
Yep.
Home movies, I always refer to it as like my favorite TV show, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then,
I am an adult now.
Yeah, what was another show? I really loved Aqua Teen. Yeah. I remember going to see the Aqua Teen movie in theaters with my brother.
Yeah.
That was like the like
that's hilarious.
The best sibling bonding I've ever had with my brother. I was like, wow, we're bonding right now. We're going to the Aqua Teen movie.
I don't think Aqua Teen aged quite as well as home movies.
Home movies, man, it's been so long, but I loved like the theme song. I don't. It was.
And it's almost just like, I think we're all roughly the same age. I feel like that 90s era childhood, it's really hard to beat, because you started having all those different modern conveniences, but you still had like really good art, and then you had like the Game Boy Pocket, and then you had like all of these different, or you had the Yak Back, where it was just a standalone device.
I had a Yak Back.
No one knows. Yeah, me too. Nobody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about the Yak Back.
The Yikes brand fucking or pencil erasers.
Maybe
The
I don't know if I know that one.
Like
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Shout out to LO. We have won them over. They're in the YouTube chat.
Hey, what are you doing? How's it going?
Aloha. Yeah, I don't remember
Adult
what it
Swim
was.
gave. Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna just read this chat saying Adult Swim gave small studios a chance, is what LO says in the chat.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I think Soup Two Nuts was the studio that did. I had the DVDs for home movies. Lauren Bouchard went on to do Bob's Burgers, which, in my opinion, has a lot of the spirit of home movies in it. With like he knows what he's doing as like a showrunner, has his own distinct style, and I'm a big fan of Bob's Burgers too, more than some of those other ones.
I didn't watch a lot of Bob's Burgers. I've seen some of it. I have some friends that are big fans. I fell off.
I don't know if I don't know if I would like it as much as I did 5 years ago or whatever. But I saw the movie; it was good.
Okay.
It was very good. It was like as good as the Simpsons movie was, as like a I don't know, capsule of what it is.
I used to look like Tina. Is that her name? The daughter that does the weird dancing. Is that her name? I don't know if that's her name.
You mean the haircut?
Yeah.
Is that her name? Is Tina or no?
Tina
Is it
Belcher.
something? Okay.
And she's the inverse of Bart Simpson. She's a female character.
Yes.
who's
Yeah.
voiced by a guy.
So I had the same hair.
Aww.
Baxter, I don't know when you messaged me that, but my favorite anime movie of all time is The Magnetic Rose. I have it on Blu-ray.
Ooh.
It's
What is that?
part of a. It's a Blu-ray, and I don't know what the history of why it was released this way, but it was a 3-movie pack. It was Magnetic Rose, the whole pack is called Memories, and then the main film is Magnetic Rose. It is about a starship like an ancient starship that's discovered by a space wrecking crew, and I don't want to say anything else because it is so good. And then there was another one called. There was like this weird kind of dystopian Soviet Russia military world, and then there was this other movie about this guy in Japan that was working at a bioweapons lab, they made the stinky pill, the stinkiest pill on the planet. That one was after you get through the Magnetic Rose where you're like sobbing, then they give you the stinky pill movie.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Paprika?
Oh yeah.
Another anime.
Love Satoshi Kon. Perfect Blue is actually probably my favorite anime movie. Period.
That's a good transition from anime to horror. But yeah, I just watched Paprika for the second time.
It's gorgeous.
Showed it to my girlfriend.
It is super pretty. I am actually a fail. I'm a fail weeaboo. I've never seen Perfect Blue. So
please do. It's depressing and it's great.
I've seen those three.
Depressing.
That and Millennium Actress, but is there other good ones? I don't know.
Yeah,
those are usually the ones that come to mind.
I feel honestly. Like Satoshi Kon is kind of like the he's better than Miyazaki, but he's very popular in the same way, and I need to expand my reach into less entry level. Not that Satoshi Kon's like super, it's just like everyone knows about Paprika. You know what I mean? It's incredible. But I wanna get into some of those like really weeb. I feel like you know about animes that nobody's ever heard about, Megan, and like I wouldn't put yourself down for not knowing and seeing that one Satoshi Kon movie.
I went through anime burnout and a lot of just shows in general just kind of burnt out, and I started collecting more manga because again anime just became pretty disappointing, especially now. I don't know, I think we're coming out of the era of isekais.
Yes, thank goodness.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand isekais.
Oh, is this I was
reincarnated into
a vending machine? Yeah.
Watch the vending machine one because it sounds so dumb that I just want to see it. It's like this person dies and becomes a vending machine in like a fantasy world.
My roommate is a cat. I watched that one.
Is that good? I want to see.
It's funny.
Like,
It's cute.
You know what?
Funny.
Maybe
So isekai is a genre.
is a genre.
Okay. Okay.
The biggest one was Sword Art Online. I think it's considered an isekai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Even though it's
out of universe adventure.
Mm-hmm.
The one that a lot of people don't know about this show, and it's incredible to me, but it was canceled halfway through its story arc. Final Fantasy Unlimited, the Final Fantasy anime.
Oh, I've heard of it. I think I watched. Hang on,
It's
let me make sure
not
it's the right
bad.
one.
They never dubbed it into English, I don't think, but it's really not bad. It doesn't.
You said
It's not bad
Unlimited?
if you're okay with it not being. The very deep and complex story not being concluded at all for like even like part into the beginning of the third act. But
Yeah, I've seen at least one episode of this.
it's not super complex. It's like
Oh, okay, that's cool.
at one time I
like
was
the-
streaming like every day or every weekend, and it was that show and the Kirby anime, which is very monster
Whoa.
of the week as well.
Look, Kirby. I really like one of my favorite animes is Lucky Star.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
It's a slice of life. I love slice of life. I got really
Yes.
into like just slice of life goofy. And then there's another one called is a newer one. It's called Asabasi. I cannot say it. Did I try to get you to watch that one? And you weren't into it? It was like a comedy one.
I don't know, but she is so harsh on me. If I don't have the right reaction for whatever anime, and what was the one that you didn't want to finish? And I was like, I was enjoying that. And she's like, no,
Because she felt
it
like
was
you
the one
weren't
that-
liking it enough.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
sweet of
That
her,
happens, and then you got burnt out. And you were like, "This is really long. We should watch Cowboy Bebop." And then we finally got to that.
The same.
Okay, so no, what was the one that I liked? He was the
Mob
paranormal.
Psycho,
There we go.
which I have not seen
Wait,
all
say
of
again?
it. Because again, Mob Psycho 100.
Oh,
Yeah, I was enjoying it.
It's a great show and it's got great anime. It's got that budget.
It's like
Because-
it's like a con man using an actual psychic
Yes.
in
it's
his
hilarious.
psychic. What is his job? He's an exorcist.
They
Okay,
do
okay.
exorcisms.
But he's got it's like a law firm vibe, and
That
he
sounds
gets called.
good.
He's like a Ghostbuster, but he's just a sham.
Yeah, but
And-
he has a 14-year-old kid who's an actual like psychic who actually can do like the exorcisms and fight and all that. And you just have to check it out. It's really great. I have show burnout where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to commit to watching because then I'll like drop, I'll fall off, and I won't binge it. I'll just, I have a friend who has watched One Piece. I was informed the other day, and one of my good friends has watched One Piece like 3 times now.
Oh my
The
god.
entire show. Yes, and I'm like,
Mental
girl, that's like
hospital.
1,000 Yeah,
Oh shit! Fuck. Okay.
Isn't
well,
that like
let's go then.
3,000 episode
it's like
viewings?
1,000 plus.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
and then you have
it's
things-
1,113 episode that just came out.
That's
Oh
great.
my god, Lily, are you a One Piece fan?
Yeah, that's why I feel a little bit attacked, but I guess I'll just leave. That's fine.
I assure
That's a
you,
lot of
I'm
that.
not-
I don't
I'm not
understand how-
hating, though. That's just so many.
Yeah, I just
can't-
don't understand how that many can be made.
I've never played
That's just
that much of a
that's crazy.
video game.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's a shonen, and shonens just don't fucking end. I don't know why. Oda, I think that's the author's name, right?
Yeah.
Or the mangaka. He has decided that he has an ending for it planned, but it will be 10 years probably.
That's insane.
Before it's
That is so
crazy.
insane.
Because manga, when they're writing manga, it's only like a few chapters in a small. Well, you've seen my manga collection,
Yeah.
and that's like volumes of. Anyways, I could go on.
That's
but-
that's just I can't wrap my. I mean, what you're well over 1,000 in. How long has it been running? So what is that going to be like 2,500
I
episodes by
feel
the
like
time
mid
it's
to
done?
late 90s.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then
So maybe
you've got
1,500.
Yeah,
17,
that's such a massive amount of work.
But think about it. Do people who watch the show seem to, I don't know anything about it, but people who watch the show seem to joke a lot about what the fucking One Piece even is. So I get the feeling that he's just gonna like It's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's a
the
red
biggest,
herring. I
like,
totally
Deus
believe
Ex
it.
Machina in the history of literature. Like, he's
I
just
don't know.
gonna.
I get what you're saying.
He's building up
Someone
that
said that Oda-
energy more and more.
Someone said that Oda says that it's gonna be a physical thing. It's not gonna be the friends that they make along the way, which is the one thing. That's what someone's theory is.
Is that where the meme comes from?
I think so.
I don't know.
Because it's, and then we were recently informed by somebody who is pretty religious that they are a One Piece fan. Up until recently, and that I won't get into that, but they compared One Piece to they compared Luffy to Jesus, and his like crew as like the apostles. Like they said it was like an allegory of
an allegory.
Christ.
Oh,
And I was
okay.
just
No,
like,
I'm not that far gone.
yeah. But then my
I'm
friend who
safe.
is not
But have you seen every
religious,
episode though?
have they? That person no.
A lot, but I
No,
don't know
Lily,
about all
have
of
you?
them.
Oh,
I
right,
have, yeah. A couple
Okay.
times.
Really?
3 times.
Well, no, but your friend, the friend that's watched
free
it how
zone,
many
right?
times?
How many times have you watched it, Lily? All of it.
3. This is my 3rd run.
So that's
Yeah.
so it's the same as your friend.
You don't have to go to the mental hospital. I swear to God.
Oh, that's funny.
No, like I said, I
Naruto
respect where it's
ended.
going as a piece of literature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've caught it. There's this restaurant, there's this Japanese restaurant that Seth and I have been to a few times, and they just play One Piece.
Mhm.
And but when Akira Toriyama passed away, RIP, because he was fantastic.
Oh, sad.
They killed that man. They worked him into the ground because they wouldn't let Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Z just fucking die. I'm like, let that
Just
shit
let it
die.
rest, man. Just let it
He needs to
rest.
go. Goku is worst dad. He's terrible dad.
Our local used video game and like comic book store had like a shrine to him. We walked in one day and there was
Aw.
like all the action figures.
I mean, he did the art. I don't know if he did the story, but he did the art for one of my favorite video games, which is Chrono Trigger. And Chrono, I like that the main character Chrono is just like red-haired Goku. It's just, just like Goku. But I love Chrono Trigger. My one of my best friends and I just like played that so much throughout. We would rent it from like the local Captain Video. And my mom would have to take me there all the time and rent it. And then I finally found it at like a yard sale. So I have like a Super Nintendo like copy of it, and I also have like a DS copy of it.
Is that a rare game? That's a pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Collectible.
It is rare. I have unfortunately lost
Oh no.
the Super Nintendo copy.
Yeah, no,
Aw.
I've
So-
played it on emulator, and I'm trying to get into Chrono Cross now.
Chrono Cross is difficult to get into. I haven't even gotten into
That's
that.
the era,
So-
though.
Well, why is it
Two
difficult? You like
generations.
it, the other one so much. Why is it difficult?
They're not directly related. They're it's too much to explain.
It's- yeah,
the
I know what you
cross,
mean.
like, more
Lore is too
convoluted,
much.
or
I feel like Chrono Cross is more convoluted, and it's just indirectly related. There is the connection. I can't even begin to explain.
As a video
There's-
game, it's like so different because of the framework of the PS1, and the art is kind of good, but it's pretty weird compared to Chrono Trigger. It's kind of like
Chrono
uncanny.
Trigger. Yeah, Chrono Trigger had like a story, and it was a good story. It was easy to like follow. That's how I felt. I don't know anything. I don't know much about Chrono Cross. Nobody come
I
at me
think
if they're a Chrono Cross fan.
PS1 RPGs were all trying to be like 40 to 60 plus hours long, and that I think the writing suffered. Even if you
Yeah.
love like Final Fantasy 7 through 9, you kind of have to admit the PS1 RPGs had that flaw.
A Dog Ain't Dead, Chrono Trigger, or bust.
Yeah,
How's it going, dog?
Yeah, Chrono Trigger's best.
But I wanted to also check in on your balls. I heard that your balls weren't doing good.
Ayo? What was that?
There was I got a notification that Dog Ain't Dead Yet was going live, and it said something was wrong with his balls, like some kind of testicular torsion or something. I just wanted to check in and
I am
make sure everything
so
was okay.
sorry to hear that.
Put some ice on them
Ouch.
balls. I'm sorry.
But
I guess we could talk about horror now. 'Cause
Yeah,
I interrupted.
no,
that's
it's
pretty
Maybe
good
a little
segue.
body horror, if you will.
Yeah.
the okay. We can go down the rabbit hole of some good everybody's favorite horror movie. I mean, who wants to go first?
It's
Adam,
tough
you
to
wanna
just
go
pick
first?
one, man.
We could do top three.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
What do
say
you think?
The Witch is my #1 favorite, with the two V's.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
It is just such a beautiful movie.
It is.
Like, yeah, and then
I'm
and
gonna
then what was
get-
the movie? The
Okay.
Black Coat's Daughter? Is that what it was?
Dog, that sounds awful. I'm so sorry. I can't tell if you're joking with me or.
I couldn't tell if you were joking.
Well, I mean, it was in his Twitch notification, so I didn't think it was a secret.
My balls had to withstand extreme testicular torsion, and I no longer have active swimmers.
Oh, okay. Phew. He's saying it's a joke. Okay, good.
Oh,
Yeah, you were
okay.
making me feel terrible.
I know a guy who rides a motorcycle and had that issue.
oh
Slow.
dear.
Stop.
I didn't know motorcycles could fuck up your balls.
It had
My-
something to do with like something weird happening at an intersection.
That doesn't
Goodness.
sound like a good time.
He had
My,
kids after that. So
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
My high school science teacher told me a story about when he was in college. Him and a bunch of bros were. Him and a bunch of bros were.
they were joking together.
They were doing like they were trying to jump over as many chairs as they could.
Oh no.
And
No,
yeah,
no.
and and so some guy got torn up down there, and,
Nah.
and
Yikes.
to where one was exposed, they had to rush into the
No,
hospital. the whole
Oh, that
thing.
can't be good.
no.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep,
It-
yep.
Don't tell me
Yeah,
that.
it
Don't
was
tell me
bad.
that.
Oh,
So they
fuck,
after
man.
that, because there were these very specific
Must
types
have
of
been some
chairs with a
exposed
metal
metal.
back. Yeah,
Ugh.
they took all the chairs to the shop
Ouch.
department and cut them down because they were too sharp.
Oh
and they
my
were worried.
God.
They were worried that the kids would try to jump them again.
That happened
they,
to me
like-
once when I was like in library in elementary school, but not. It was bad, but
not that bad.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And it was a
goodness.
chair.
I mean-
it was like one of those like plastic and metal chairs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody's got like at least a dodgeball story from high school or middle school or something. But man, that's rough. But okay, so horror movies.
Let's get into some sauce, like the
Yeah.
Hostel type
Yeah,
shit.
I think my favorite horror movie might be, I think it's called The Other with Nicole Kidman.
Kidman's cool.
I don't know if it's not
The
very
Others?
spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very well made. I'm hesitant about the title because I've only watched it in French, so I
Oh,
usually
okay.
know
Oh, are
it
you
by its
French?
French name. I am.
Oh, cool.
I am.
I wasn't. Yeah, you have one of
and-
those accents. It's hard to place.
I try very hard to erase that accent, but it's never gonna happen. But yeah, I love that movie. I remember doing a paper on it in high school or something, and I've just it always had like a soft spot for me. I love this movie.
Yeah.
I think your accent's charming, for the record.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Very sweet.
Yeah. What is that? The title of that movie, I've heard of it. It always reminded me of like The Borrowers. Is it some sort of like alternate universe ghost thing going on, or what?
Yes. So I'm not gonna spoil it too hard, but you follow a family that lives in a manor. Very strange happenings, doors closing, curtains opening suddenly, pictures, mysterious pictures that you find. And the plot twist at the end, I was not expecting it back then. And it's kind of a fun, kind of an unassuming movie. I think it's very humble and it does what it needs to do. Spooks you.
Yeah, I remember watching that a long time ago, and I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend the Black Coat's Daughter. I watched that recently, and that was fantastic. Which I think was by the same director as Longlegs. Was that what it was?
Yes.
Which we enjoyed Longlegs. I don't know if y'all have seen that yet, but it was great.
No, I don't think I'm familiar. Long legs.
just came out.
Yeah, you should watch the trailers for Long Legs. It's yeah,
Isn't that new?
You should check that out.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Nicolas Cage in it.
Ooh.
Which, when Nicolas
wait.
Cage is used correctly, because Nicolas Cage has done a lot of movies. He's done a lot of great movies, and he's done a lot of bad movies. Which we
my
love
God.
Nick Cage, but he
That reminds me. Mm-hmm.
he went full
Sorry, go
Cage in
ahead.
this movie.
Yeah, that's the
Anyways, go
best
ahead.
usually.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a horror movie that unfortunately we watched with my in-laws, and Nick Cage was in it, and it was the most unhinged thing I've ever seen. I have the title right on my tongue, at the tip of my tongue, but I can't place it. Something like Mom and Dad, or something along those lines.
Color Out of Space.
No. It was it
kinda like
the disease where the parents have to kill the kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Gosh.
Unhinged.
I think it's just called Mom and
Never
Dad.
watched this with. Right? Is it Mom and Dad?
I think so. It's something
Yeah.
very very close to that. Yeah.
Just don't watch it with your in-laws. Just do me a favor. Don't
Has
watch it with your
Nicolas
in-laws.
Cage made like 5 horror movies in the past 10 years that I've never heard of? What's going on? He's so
Mandy's a
prolific.
horror
It's
movie.
Yeah,
insane.
that's on my list. Yeah, it's so this is what's so weird about Cage. He is an unbelievably talented actor. It's like you have to know where he like chooses movies super strange. It's like some movies he's like I need some cash fast. And so he like just kind of picks like some strange straight to DVD or Blu-ray a detective movie or whatever. And then he's in like Mandy, Pig, Long Legs, but then he'll go and do like some bizarre, like really not that well shot film, or what was Drive Angry or whatever. He has like, if you watch his career, it's an insane career.
Is Drive Angry
But-
the one where he's covered in blood?
Drive Angry is where he is having sex, drinking whiskey, and shooting bad guys all
Lord.
at once at the same time.
Okay.
It was a 3D film where like explosions and bullets like zoomed past you.
What the hell?
And yeah, but you can watch it just like on Netflix or whatever, some streaming platform.
Oh, it's
and,
made for like VR?
you know, no. It was you put 3D glasses on in the theaters, but once it came out of the theaters, they just kind of like turned the 3D the blurry vision off, and it just looks weird. It's super weird, but it's him and who's the chick that sued Johnny Depp? The bee and she pooped on a bed.
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard.
Oh, yeah.
Amber Heard is the opposite him. So it's him and Amber Heard driving angry and killing bad guys. It is the craziest thing ever.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like Crank?
But it is a Nick Cage crank, kind of.
I need to see that, but I know I've got the overview of it. Go ahead.
We were gonna do a Nicolas Cage like movie marathon, weren't we?
Holy
I know we're gonna do a
crap,
Keanu
yes.
one.
Yes.
He has so
Yep.
many movies, though. You know what?
I know.
I think I saw Fargo for the first time recently, and holy shit, is that a good movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Solid.
Yes.
It's so
Yeah.
fun and just
You know what?
just nonstop.
The Coen brothers and like the modern parable like film, or the modern like you know what Pilgrim's Progress is?
No.
So Pilgrim's Progress is like do you know what I'm talking about?
I know it because of Scott Cawthon, and he made a video game called Pilgrim's Progress.
Okay, Pilgrim's Progress is like, it's a Christian story about like a guy going through it's a giant. It's basically like Homer's Odyssey. It's like all these like different parables, and like there's like these guys and these temptations in this, but it presents itself in this really weird literal manner, and he's like traveling through like these areas. Anyway, it's like super abstract, and I don't even really know how to describe it, but that is kind of like what was I originally
Nick
talking
Cage.
about? What was the
Coen Brothers.
Coen Brothers? The Coen Brothers make films like that. It's like the bigger story is like an allegory for something else, but they're like you meet these weird, I don't know, twins, and one guy doesn't have an eye in a bar, and there's like this weird discourse, like this long, they're like talking forever, this crazy dialogue, and then it goes on with the movie. Like the Coen brothers have this thing that emulates that a whole lot. It's like this weird allegory of something else, but you're watching. It's like they did Nick Cage was in one of their films, Raising Arizona, and that
I haven't
film
seen that one yet either.
Yeah, that film is like that too. Like most of the Coen brothers films is like that.
Oh, am I thinking? I was thinking of Steve Buscemi in Fargo.
Yeah.
See, I did it again. I just creating randomness with my ignorance. It's what I do.
No, I've definitely mixed up people quite a bit.
I always blame
lot.
it on dyslexia, but my friends informed me that it's just a drug addiction issue.
Dude, the only reason why I know what Pilgrim's Progress is because of Scott Cawthon, who created Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh,
he made a game, and just look up Scott Cawthon Pilgrim's Progress game. It looks insane.
Yeah.
It looks just so bizarre because he's a Christian and he made a lot of Christian like video games.
Is that like a point and click RPG?
I think so. We should try to find a video.
That is interesting.
It looks crazy.
Yeah, it does.
And then he made another game. There's another game called oh my gosh, it's really strange. It's hang on, I'm gonna find it. Gosh, there's a tea kettle or a coffee maker. Hang on, game. It's called The Desolate Hope, and that looks
that sounds really familiar.
What a happy premise.
I know, but it looks like this was pre Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, it looks crazy, and the character you play as is like.
Yeah, I want to play that.
It looks just bizarre.
I
We'll
really
probably make a good
about...
playthrough for our Halloween.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's. I don't know necessarily how. It's just really dystopian and depressing looking, and you play as like a little coffee maker, little coffee machine right there.
Oh, that's just gonna make me cry. Just, like, I don't know why.
Coffee maker.
For
some reason that
get
rings
like
a bell now.
I get like really emotional when like helpless inanimate objects are like have to face the world.
They're
It's like such a
The Brave Little Toaster?
Yeah. I think it stems from that because I remember watching that as a kid and that tore me up.
Dude.
Like that movie.
They're gonna say I get really sad when anything involving coffee happens. Like what?
Caffeine, man.
But I have a good answer to the horror movie question.
Ooh,
Okay,
On the topic of, because there's
track.
like a Five Nights at Freddy's movie now, right?
Yes,
This
that one's great too.
is an off-kilter answer to the question, but I was trying to think of a cinematic film, and I could do that too. But Petscop, the ARG,
Petscop.
I don't know
the
this
YouTube
one.
video series.
Yeah.
It is a little bit over the length of a feature film. It's more of like an information dump than a piece of cinema.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah.
Why is that familiar?
I admire.
I have watched. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, just the guy who created it. He's so fucking.
Yeah.
Tony. Something.
This was Nexpo, that YouTube channel that
I think
covers
that might have
like.
been how I learned about it.
Yeah, that's how I learned about it. That was like, okay, I got you. That's a good answer.
This reminds me of Yumi Nikki, the original Yumi Nikki. I know there's been like a remake of it, but the original Yumi Nikki is so fucking depressing and terrifying.
People still are so obsessed with that game, and so many amateur or like indie game makers are still like making homages to it and like remakes and
Yeah. I remember
Yume
my
Nikki's
friend
some
showed me
OG
that game.
shit. Like Petscop, Yume Nikki, Ben Drowned, what's
Ben
the other
Drowned,
one?
yes.
Yes.
Why they have
It's
to
not a
twist it
video
like
game
that.
one, but Marble Hornets is high on my list, and I'm gonna watch it very soon. But that's
That
like
sounds familiar,
it's
too.
kind of like a Slender Man sort of creepypasta analog.
Oh,
horror
okay,
type thing.
Huh.
Oh, this
That
was like a
reminds me.
series, wasn't it?
It was a series on YouTube, and apparently it's really good. My friends tell me it's very good, and it's
I want to check this.
it's very much the inspiration for Petscop. I feel like maybe Petscop and maybe like the Back Rooms by Kane Pixels.
Yeah.
Oof, Back Rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
Talking
background
about
is
this
great.
like kind of like old school analog horror miniseries or game reminded me of that project, but I just can't remember what it's called. Maybe you can figure it out with my very obscure
This room
clues.
does
But
not exist.
no, but it was like something like that. I remember like it was CCTV of like a bunch of people going through some shit.
Oh,
and they were like they were at home basically, and it's like a family of people.
was it Channel 58? No. Was it the same house? Like the same house and the whole thing, or was it a bunch of different?
Yeah.
This
It
house
was in the
has
same
people in it.
house. Yes.
Yeah. Very similar
Yes.
title to
This
This
house
Room
has
Does
people
Not
in it.
Exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what is
That's what this house has people in it.
Yeah, no.
Please
Oh my
watch
god.
it.
Yes, so
This
good.
is
So
crazy.
good. It was made by
It's like
Wham City.
a rabbit hole.
Who Alan
they're
Resnick is the guy from
Yes.
he made Alan Tutorial, the YouTube channel.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
super
yeah.
weird. But I used to be, my introduction to Wham City was Dan Deacon, actually. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he used to work with them
No.
before he got big, actually on Adult Swim. I've seen him live a few times. He's a musician, but he also used to do these like illegal, copyright-free musical
Oh, shit.
reviews of Disney properties.
Oh, okay.
At, like the they called it Wham City, the venue, and it was inspired by Fort Thunder, the place that was like the residence of that band Lightning Bolt. It's just like a collectivist sort of like weird art punk thing.
Okay.
But then somehow out of that, like Wham City became this thing where like they were like contracted with William Street. They made a few different shows on AdultSwim.com. Dan Deacon was on all of those compilations. And now Alan Resnick is doing some other. I don't know what Alan Resnick's up to now, but I imagine he has a little bit of money. I'll say that.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
But the AdultSwim.com shows were kind of good too. They were like interactive in a way that like Fish Tank Live is. Where it would be like callers would call in and sort of manipulate the story as it went, but it sort of was shot like a staged play. Really
Interesting.
cool.
Okay.
They're called like
I do want to look that up.
The City
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Man and The Call of War, and then the third one is called The Weather.
City of Man,
Yeah.
All of War.
Yeah. But
looking it
Alan Resnick is weird too. I never really watched all of his videos. Dan
I don't want
Deacon's
to know what's
crazy.
going on in that mind of his.
I was listening to Dan Deacon when I first smoked pot. So that just like clutched it, right? I would sit in my bed and like hallucinate to his music.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, it's called City of Man or City of Men?
City of Man with 2 N's. And then Call
Two
of War
N's,
with
okay.
2 R's.
All right.
They're super weird, and they were like one-offs, and I feel like it's one of those things where there's like a thread from that where now all these people, it's not just Fish Tank Live either. It's Kai Cenat's 7 Days In. It's the Hunger Games thing that what's his name is trying to do. Ice Poseidon.
Wait. Oh yeah. Okay. So what Kai was doing, the Bloodborne, like he's setting up for that stream or something.
7 Days In was like
I-
the prison thing.
Oh, okay. There was something that was recently. There was a few. Yeah. Okay. Who is the one that was doing the Hunger Games thing?
Ice Poseidon.
Ice Poseidon. Okay.
Okay.
But he also
I
did
he was still online.
the prison house or whatever it's called.
Okay. I don't think I'm
he
familiar with
still-
that. Prison House.
Is he still doing the IP2 shit, or is he just on other projects now? Because
IP2, I
Last
think,
I remember-
was them splitting off from him.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it comes
That
from like
makes
the
sense.
Medicare forums. But the other thing that it was not, I don't know if Ice Poseidon was involved, but the Medicare forums also did that thing that was called like Hobo Alley or some shit like that, and it was like this
Yeah.
cam outside that had a TTS, and the point of it was kind of just for people online to harass homeless people. It was crazy.
Oh,
it was like
no.
he will not
Unhinged.
divide us, but violently
Yeah,
classist.
Yeah. Wow.
I forget what it was
there's-
called. That's not the actual name. Don't quote me. But yeah, I feel
So,
like
so Ice Poseidon recovered from rug pulling the all of his fans with the crypto thing.
I don't know. Did he?
Because yeah, I mean, he didn't he get in trouble for? Yeah, he was interviewed by the coffee guy. Anyway,
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
he started a crypto thing, and then obviously once everybody started pouring their money into it, he cashed out, and then there's recordings of him being like, well, you know, I can't do his crazy deep voice, but he's like, well, you know, yeah, I don't owe you anything. He's like a complete sociopath. It's insane.
I think he has a reputation as like a dirtbag and a sociopath, and that's part of how he gets away with it. He's like that guy
So-
scumbag Vinny who got famous off of like trying to promote Bam Margera,
Oh,
but scamming
man.
people
Whoa.
in the process left and right.
Oh my god.
Man. I wonder
So
what
you're saying that was part of the bit to like drum up? That was part of the what do you call that? When someone does like a big publicity stunt? You're saying that was part of it? Scamming, making as much noise as possible.
I don't know. You mean the Streisand effect?
Well, almost. Like I wonder now. Like
I don't know too
wonder
much
every
about
now
Ice
and then.
Poseidon.
Yeah. Well, every now and then I wonder. I see like some crazy phenomenon going on with like influencers or YouTubers or whatever, and I'm like, is this all like fake for whatever? Because we already know they do fake beefs for, you know, whatever to get up view counts. But I wonder how much is orchestrated, because, you know, like you look at the celebrity world and you've got what are they called? There's like arranged boyfriends or girlfriends, depending on who the star is, that are paid to be seen in public after a major divorce or whatever. It's very orchestrated at what they do, and I think with like blind items and stuff like that, people on the lower shelf of the order in like the YouTube land take notes and go like, ooh, I can do this, or like this version of that, and it oddly plays off of people's weird obsession with drama. So they, I don't know. I've always wondered, like, whenever I see something, how much of it is real.
Yeah.
Like Keemstar type shit.
Oh
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah.
Or Boogie, like
Oh,
'cause-
Lord.
That's those two recently. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and like his brother comes out and says, no, he absolutely has cancer,
Hey,
and he's a doctor.
message to Keemstar and Boogie. Get a room. hey guys, get a room.
It is so funny that he tattooed "liar" on his face. That is
That's
amazing.
ridiculous.
That's
It is
That's
hilarious.
like the most unhinged thing.
I know we're
He's
doing a
such a fat
podcast
idiot.
and we're live streaming and we're on the internet right now, but some days I just can't with the internet and the people on it. I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all are a mess. And
Too much.
I'm not a fan of Keemstar. That whole Etika situation several years ago where that streamer Etika, I don't know if I'm saying it right, he like killed himself.
Oh yeah, and Keem was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Keem, you can't blame it on Keem because somebody's gonna take their life, they're gonna take their life. But
Keem was just doing what he always
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
it
that's not
did
the
not
sort of thing
help.
that people should just get away with.
Yeah,
and
it's
not
like
should be reminded of for the rest of their fucking
Right.
careers.
Right.
yeah, it's like I think there was an interview like a month or so before that event happened where Etika was on a call with Keem on drama alert, I guess, and Keem was like, well, I guess Etika was hinting at suicide or talking about, like, he talked about killing himself a lot apparently in different streams, and I guess Keem was like, well, why don't you just do it then? And I'm just like, bro, you don't tell somebody who's suicidal to just do that. That's not okay. And then he like did
their
raise
life
money.
is as like a media star, and that's like part of their reality is like this like
Yeah, it just makes me sick because like it's like this is a real person with real emotions and feelings and going through some real shit and should not be online, should be getting help. I don't know what that looks like, but they should be getting help. And you just don't light a fire to it. You just because the person is clear, and I know like yeah, and Keem is also like I think he's in his 40s now. You think that he would know better?
I feel
Really
like people
not.
just
Me
treat.
too.
Oh, that's crazy. Is it? It's
Yeah.
not by that lady, is it?
I
Which
don't know,
lady?
actually. I think
His new girlfriend, the
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
very
That's how old she
photogenic
is.
one.
I just want him to shave that pointy beard. I'm so done with it.
What is incredibly I have a friend
He just it's the actual shape of the beard.
friend who apparently worked at Trader Joe's, I think is where he worked, or something like that, a grocery store chain. And he had a long beard at the time, and they weren't supposed to have long beards. And he just straight up told his boss, he's like, I got a weird shaped face. This is just the way my face is shaped. Essentially, and that he's got a really long face. And his boss was cool with it, but then when like I guess somebody from corporate came in, you know, like general or district manager was just like that guy needs to clean up and shave, and then his manager responded, oh, that's just he's just got a weird shaped face.
Did they ever make a shape?
It's like elephant man chin.
He's got a medical condition.
Beard
be
in the
good.
last year, and he definitely does not have a long chin.
Did you? Speaking of like taking advantage of the system like that, have you seen the photos of the kid that got a colander like that you strain noodles with? He got it registered as a religious garment, and
What?
so all his government IDs are him with this soup strainer on,
That's
and there's a
great.
picture. There's a picture of him voting with it on, and he has this. It's incredible.
Oh my god, that is commitment to a bit.
It is.
No, because I was gonna
Mental
say
illness.
he
I'm
should have
not
said
sure
it was for it was a religious beard.
Yeah.
Oh
my
man, yeah. I
God.
mean, he could have said for religious purposes, I don't shave. He could have
I just
definitely.
have a weird shape.
You say that. I feel like I was working at a cafe once where a guy had a beard for religious reasons, and he was somehow pushed out of the company. Like, not even joking.
Yeah.
wow.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Oh man.
America,
Yeah, that's a mess. America.
Oh.
Land of the
freedoms.
free.
Oh
So
man.
many
Unless you work
freedoms.
at a minimum wage job at a cafe.
Yeah. Yep. It's
But no.
Man.
You gotta watch Petscop if you haven't. I need to watch Marble Hornets like yesterday. Is there any of that? You said you like analog horror. Is there any of that like creepypasta, YouTube type shit that you would recommend also?
Very much so. There is a YouTube channel. So I know that not everyone's down with like. It seems like AI is like a contentious topic.
Yeah.
But I think that it can be used a certain way. Like I use it for a certain way. There was like only one video I made where I'm like, I went a little too heavy on that. I need to lace it with some because I'm trying to tell a story, and it's very difficult to film like a cinematic universe when you have no budget. But so like there's that kind of weird thing where half of the people get really angry with AI art and the other. But anyway, so there is a way to do it, and there's a channel called Anomaly, and Anomaly basically does kind of like okay, so there was a containment crew sent down to the Lower East Side's tunnels, and so it's like a combination of like stable diffusion and stuff, but it's done in like as if the government has archived something for later informing agents of whatever secret like compartment of the government this is, like for archival purposes. And yeah, let's see.
Internet Watch. Or no.
It's Anomaly. Let me just. I'll double check to make sure. But yeah. So if it's really good, and very unsettling. It's always kind of around the premise.
Is it a game?
No, it is a channel.
There's there's a
watch, it's
Swedish
horrifying.
YouTuber named Anomaly who I actually follow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we should
But he's a
honestly
gamer
just
neat
drop all
guy.
these.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We should just like drop all of these, like all the suggestions in weird stuff around the internet or something.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
weird. That way we have like a list, because
I wrote down those
Yeah,
movies
I have, like,
because
so
I'll
many
add them
tabs.
to my letterboxd.
Is it this one? I contain anomalies for the government. This no.
no, man, that's weird. Oh, here it is. Okay, that's why you can't find it. So it's 4.N0M4LY underscore. And so it's, it's like,
Gotcha.
this
Okay.
kind of thing. And
Mhm.
but the way that they narrate what is happening, what the crew is responding to, it's very government archival footage kind of feel, but it has, and that's another thing I wanted to say about AI. Where it's getting to the point where between Mid-Journey and some of the bigger Stable Diffusion models, that it's getting so good, it's starting to become uninteresting. I got into AI because of how uncanny. So there's like
Yeah.
this kind of effect. Yeah. So like in audio, like when I recorded music with a friend of mine a long time ago, and there was this really interesting thing. You could just get like whatever cassette, and if you had a 8-track or whatever kind of recorder that you were recording music with, and someone would be on synth and somebody would be doing something ridiculous on the microphone or whatever. Sometimes if you had like a semi-broken 8-track or whatever, there would be leaks of the previous tape's audio. So like you would have like, I don't know, Diamond Rio in reverse faintly in the background, and for
Yeah.
some weird reason
Ghosts, they
it
call
would
them,
line
right?
up, because you can't hear it when you're recording, but yeah, like Ghosts in the Machine type thing. It would oddly sync up with whatever you were doing or whatever, and then it would turn out really cool. That was like very fun experimental type stuff, and it just kind of happened to work. In the visual space, with like some of the older Stable Diffusion models, like 1.4 and below, don't go down to 1, but like around the 1.4 mark, you get like especially if you have LoRa's where you link the model to the LoRa, and then it's running through several different models. And also there's a program where you can merge different models together to create like your own custom model. So
Wow.
if you like get a model that was trained off of Gore, or a model that was trained off of whatever it is, film photography, you can have whatever percentages you want of those get blended into the official Stable Diffusion release. And so you get these like really weird hiccups, but they work, and they're really uncanny. And if you take those and you go and you have like a story in mind, sometimes like weird anomalies that happen, there's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, and that could be because of this, and then that it fills in these blanks of this general story you have in your head. So you can create like a really cool narrative in this space where you're making 90% of it, but this kind of large language model or image model is like filling in the chinks, but also there's just like these strange things that are unnerving or don't make sense, and you just make it work. I love that stuff, and you start seeing that pop up more and more if you kind of start following or looking for those kind of channels. It's becoming more common, but what I'm worried about is the AI stuff is getting way too perfect. Like we went from where I could generate like just kind of an ambient track on like a music AI, to where it's doing a full-on Greg lyric, like crescending.
Oh yeah.
Like that was all AI. That like.
Wait, how does it go? How
Greg,
does it go again?
Greg in the morning, Greg late at night, Greg da da da. I've listened to that song way too much while I was editing, and we went from like noise coming out of these AI models to that in like less than a year.
Yeah.
And it's like that's insane. So my point is that there's going to be a point where it's like so perfect that most of like the music stars and the this and that, there's going to be so much of that used in the future on like the mainstream level. I'm trying to archive all of these glitchy models, like, because I can run Stable Diffusion locally and a few other models, and I'm trying to like save and archive them because I feel like people are just going to want like the best, prettiest, perfectest thing, and then these will be forgotten about. But these are like perfect tools for analog horror.
They're like, I know exactly what you're talking about because I had an idea back prior to 2023 or 2022 to do like this high concept album, and I made art for it, and the concept went with the title, and it's insane to think, like, if you look at it now, so it's just like a splotchy green guy that looks vaguely like a knight, and I wanted to name this album Onion Knight, like the Onion Knight from like whatever. And I remember being so allured by like this splotchy, probably 1.3 or prior, like Mid-Journey, like just 2D art, and that's not even remotely what AI art is now. Like, people, it was a good like 6-month period where like those models were like coming out, like the early ones, and then people were like making these weird splotchy things. There was like the pixel art, like randomized pixel art things. People made like Pokemon out of them, and artists were using them like as like writing prompt type tools, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's just mostly just like racist memes, which is, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good racist meme every now and then, but
I went on Etsy to look at some art, and there's a lot of AI art on Etsy now, and I mean, it's just a very specific style. It's like very smooth and very like, I mean, it's usually like cats and foxes and things like that, and like botanical kind of settings, and like it just
like
doesn't
posters
look
and stuff.
good. Huh?
For posters and stuff?
Yeah, and it's like just prints, and it just doesn't look good. It's not very unique. It's just like copying just some basic kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't look great. And because I look and I'll be like, okay, let me zoom in and like find out what's going on here, and you can just tell when it's AI. And I was on Pinterest recently I got my hair done today, so I was looking for some hair inspiration photos, and there's AI images of girls, like if you look up blonde hair, like on Pinterest, or natural blonde hair, it's a bunch of just AI images of women with like, their hair done, like it's like an after pic of like a salon, you know what I mean? It's very bizarre, and I was like, are those fake people?
Yeah.
And they look very convincing.
You know what's really terrifying? You know, like how we grew up where everything was pretty literal, and, think of like the people that are being born right now that are going to interact with online with a bunch of fake avatars or ideas, and half the time they won't even know they're AI generated. They're going to hear AI music. They're going to hear all kinds of stuff that is kind of real, but also it's going to get to a point where there's going to be like a weird syndrome where reality isn't good enough. You know what I mean? Or like talking to someone one-on-one, like in person. Like we're already used to this, where we're like very remote, but like take it a step further.
Yeah.
And like where 90% of what a child absorbs in development is artificial. That's going to be a weird world.
Okay, I think this has already worked its way into Hollywood in the casting industry. And I
Really?
think that's the part of the reason that we have these like bubbly looking alien actresses, like the chick that starred in Fallout. I forget her name, but like her eyes are really big. She doesn't look like an average human, but she does look a little bit like an AI generation of an anime girl.
Interesting. So you're like you think it's kind of starting to that is bleeding into
And
decision
who
making.
knows what kind of work she's gotten done? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Scary.
I
Scary.
saw a trailer. I
Yeah.
think it was yesterday for an AI horror movie, and I can't remember what it's called. Afraid, and the AI part in the word afraid is like
Interesting.
very.
If you find that, yeah, drop it in the Discord. I want to see it.
I'll post it in there. My phone is on 2%, so.
Okay. Movie stuff. Let's. I'll do a few of mine. I'm gonna do. All right. There's one that everyone's gonna roll their eyes at. It's The Shining because, and I'm gonna explain why. Every time I watch that movie, I am just in the Overlook. Like there's the way it was shot is kind of timeless. It almost is like kind of a movie that goes nowhere if you really think about it. Like it you know, I mean, I'm not going to give any spoilers. It's like it was made in the forever ago.
Phone died.
Oh no. But it has like this weird. There's no real satisfying ending to it. You know what I mean? Like, what's her name and Jack go driving off in the snowmobile. What's his name's for? There's no there's no closure. There's no nothing. It's just kind of like this weird sprawling movie that doesn't really end right by like modern or not even modern, just like traditional movie. This happens, and you have a story arc. It just kind of like drones on and then just kind of unsatisfyingly ends. It shows what happened, but it is all very disappointing, and there's no real like. I mean, I know there's the new movie or whatever. I know Stephen King wrote more, but The Shining is absolutely a Kubrick hyper tweaked like mutation. It is its own thing.
Yeah, it's like Kubrickian. What's the word? Like discomfort.
Well, this is what's crazy in the movie when who's the chef's name?
Was it Doc?
No, that's what he called.
Or sorry, I can't remember his name right now.
Scatman Crothers is the actual guy's name. Anyway, when he's going up to the Overlook after getting Danny's like shining. While I love the guy's apartment. It's like the naked chick above him with the fro, and he's just like chilling out, and it's like
He's in Florida, isn't he?
Yeah, he lives in Florida, and he's just like living out his bachelor year. It's just crazy. Anyway, so he goes up there, and in the book, Jack Torrance drives a yellow bug. In this movie, he drives a red one. But when he goes up there to save Danny, there's like all these snow blockades, and there was an overturned semi onto a yellow bug, like a destroyed bug. There's all these like kind of middle fingers to Stephen King throughout that movie. That is, it's fascinating. But there's also a behind the scenes thing that there were some days where he like rewrote that day's script like 3 times on his typewriter. He's just like pecking away at the typewriter, and they get the script right then before they're about to shoot. And so Jack Nicholson like cokes up and like ah, and like goes and does his scenes. But he was also like torturing Shelley Duvall until her hair was falling out and she was like crying.
Speaking of, she just passed like
I know.
2 weeks ago. It's so sad.
I know. She was such a sweet lady.
I want to watch her final movie that I don't know if it ever came out. I think it's a horror movie actually, where she's.
She plays in it as she's older.
Yeah, it came.
Wow.
It was filmed like in the last couple of years.
Oh wow!
Don't know what it's called, but I'm sure if you just look it up, it's her final movie. But I don't know if it actually released or not.
I saw a tweet that was like, "R.I.P. Shelley Duvall. Sorry, we were like weird and fucked up about you," or something.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Phil didn't help. That was ridiculous.
Oh, I don't even know that whole.
Dr. Phil invited her on his show.
Oh, to talk about the directorial
all the crazy stuff.
R-word?
Yeah, well, she was suffering from dementia, and he put her on public blast. Oh yeah, Shelley Duvall had like legit dementia. She was suffering.
Rough.
Yeah, and so he got her up, and she was talking about like Elvis and aliens and all kinds of ridiculous stuff. And he's like, "Now, do you really think that that's happening?"
What a dirtbag, man!
I know. And so everybody, I believe he took that episode down. Like everyone piled on Dr. Phil. They're like, "Why are you doing this?"
He doesn't even have like a medical license anymore.
No, he's a TV idiot.
I don't know if I think it got like revoked or something like 20 years ago.
I haven't paid attention to him recently, but if I did, I would hate him just as much as I used to. Is he still making TV?
Yes.
It's crazy.
He interviewed Trump
He
recently.
did interview Trump.
It was before.
Like, all right, now how's your golfing game? How's your golfing game?
That's so funny.
Now, I've known you for 30. His voice is too easy for me to do, but he's just weird. Anyway, but The Shining was just like an extremely confusing film because no matter how long you watch it, you don't really know what it's about. I'm sorry, but you don't really know. Now, you can go further into people's like extended theories with Room 357, or is that documentary where they're talking about the whole time this is an allegory of the Minotaur and the bull and the maze is heavily like and Kubrick was trying to make this psychoanalysis of like the zeitgeist or whatever, and I can see that. I mean, Kubrick was a super smart dude, and I can see him trying to, if he was going to make a film, he's done all this great stuff, like why not do like an extremely high level film in every facet he could possibly do. And then I think we got like The Shining, and it still confuses people to this day.
Horror.
Yeah, it's a really weird movie that doesn't make a lot of sense on its face until you like know more about Kubrick or like what was going on. Anyway, so that's one of them. Mandy with Nick Cage is another. That when I saw that, absolutely blew me away. I had been waiting. I'd seen the trailer, and it had been kind of suffering in the art crawl like Sundance Festival. Like it was taken forever for just general release, and then finally they released it in like 2018 or something, and I saw it in theaters, and I was just like absolutely blown away. I've got so much Mandy merch. Well, kind of, not a lot. I got like 2 really cool posters, and I got one signed by Cage. But that movie is it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's awesome.
It is. I was blown away when I watched it. And The Shining is actually one of my favorite horror movies. And when we watched it last, it was even more like, I think that made me really enjoy it. So Seth had set up a projector in the woods.
Oh shit!
We watched it outside with a campfire and some pizza. So we're sitting in the woods. And it was during October, so it was chilly, and it was pretty great, pretty spooky, and it was a very crisp image we had. It was great. I don't know, it was just like perfect.
And there's an Epson projector for like $120 that was made in like the early 2000s for offices, and that bulb is so bright. You can get them refurbished all day long on eBay, and some of the sellers will ship you an extra bulb with it, but that thing is a workhorse. You plug it in, and that thing can get big. You can have like a 40-foot projection. It's huge. And they're like, nobody thinks about them because they're VGA. You got to get like a HDMI adapter, but nobody thinks about them anymore because they think they're like old office junk, but those things are beasts.
Yeah,
that's cool.
When we were taking down the projector, I think the movie was playing again. When we were packing up to like go home, and it was just projecting onto the trees. You couldn't see it very well, but there was definitely some shining stuff happening in the trees. We're like, whoa, it's just shining in the trees. Like, it made it. If you have the opportunity to watch The Shining in like an outdoor setting, especially if it's like
a drive-in or something.
Yeah, or just around it by yourself in your yard, or just with some spooky trees around. I definitely recommend it.
That sounds like a very unique experience.
It was super cool. I think that was the second time I'd ever fully watched The Shining. I had caught like clips, but the first time I watched it, I was like 19.
I think I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it again. It's so good.
Yeah.
You see, like, I think I like saw more things in the second time around.
Yeah. You know what? Since you've seen it, I would recommend watching Room 357.
Mm-hmm.
Room 357 is a really good. There's some kind of
Is that the
out
Stephen
there...
King like sequel?
No. That was Doctor Sleep. Doctor Sleep is okay. If you're just a big Shining fan, it's nice to like see the universe alive again. But it was nowhere near the Shining.
This is the documentary that's like about the making of.
Yeah. So the documentary shows you a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, but it's a bunch of people that have dedicated like 20 years of their life researching this movie, and so they're telling their theories on it. They're talking about how Kubrick helped the NASA fake the moon landing, and how a lot of the codes were embedded. So like the distance between in miles, the distance between Earth and the moon line up with like the door number. Why Danny was wearing the USA the Apollo sweatshirt while he's in this very particular carpet that is very like circle of life phallic kind of representation. It gets more that way in the room with the woman, but outside it's more cubical, like the Kennedy Space Center, the launching pads. And also they don't understand how, so there's a shot where Danny is driving the tricycle through the thing, and they have the actual map. Someone has mapped out the actual interior of the hotel they shot it in, and they don't understand how, there's this one scene where he goes all the way around, and it's a continuous shot, but he winds up in a spot in the hotel that doesn't make any sense, because if you were to follow that path on that map of the physical location, you would have been downstairs in the corridor. It, like, the way that the floors are there's a really strange optical illusion. But somehow Kubrick did this weird one take where Danny winds up in a place that you would not wind up if you were actually walking the same path Danny was in real life. So there was some trickery that they were doing with the sets. And there's another example when what's his name? Jack
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson
goes into the main office to interview for the job at the beginning of the film, and he shakes the guy's hand. The guy has like a super Kennedy haircut. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff, and he has Carl Jung's Red Book on the table, which is like the shadow work and like basically Jung's theory of like the psychology of man, and it's nothing like Freud's. It's like completely opposite. Your shadow self versus like, and so you actively partake in art in different styles and try to, as a form of meditation, to bring out, like, it's called shadow work, and it was a way for you to like synchronize like the part of yourself that is kind of unconscious and the part of it's that's conscious. But Carl Jung's book was like just right there, it blatantly. But what's really weird, in the actual location and the floor plan of like what the movie is supposed to be, there is a bright window right behind the guy that's interviewing him's office, like right behind his desk. There's trees and there's a light, but if you look down the hall, the building just continues. There's no exterior right there. So that means that Kubrick, for whatever reason, made sure to build that set, put trees, like build out a pocket in that room, put trees and a tungsten lamp at the back of it for a fake window. It's like there's so many strange things about that movie. Like, I don't even care what people all their theories on why. It's just the fact that it was done is really weird. The fact that there's photos of him like carefully lining up the Calumet baking soda cans, and there's a ton of Indian motifs and the blood, and then there's like the Native American aspect, there's this Kennedy Space Center aspect, there's Carl Jung stuff, there's like, but Kubrick, and then the Nazi stuff. Like there was a very specific brand of typewriter that Jack is typing on, and it's the one that was used during the Holocaust. he meticulously placed all these insane things. And then not only that, when Jack is typing, he is someone that would not have made a mistake. Like, what is it called? What kind of error? Continuity error. Like, so in one scene when he's talking to what's her name, Wendy, and he's like, so I don't know what the fuck you want me to do, and he's like typing around. He's like, I'm working, Wendy. The camera's panning back and forth between him and Wendy, and then all of a sudden the chairs are like completely rearranged. And then at the end of the film, you got the guy in the dog suit blowjob, which insinuates that, and then the Playgirl magazine that insinuates that Danny was sexually abused, and yeah, it gets super like, but also like on the surface, you have to ask yourself like, why is all this in there? And then you have the literal rendition of like the ghosts and the skeleton room when Wendy finally sees what Danny's been experiencing this whole time. It's a wild movie. It's just like, there are so many layers to it that I don't even know if we're ever going to have the answers unless like a Kubrick journal pops up somewhere.
Yeah. There's Easter eggs in there probably that people haven't discovered if he was really...
Yeah.
Was he on drugs at the time?
No,
Honestly, though.
I've heard. The other thing I've heard that he had like an insanely high IQ. I don't know. I don't know where the metric is for that. Like, okay, that's cool if he does, but like, I don't know where that metric is. I think that might be true. They may be referring to some test he did a long time ago. I really don't know, but I've heard people say he had like an insanely like genius level IQ, but he decided to make films. One of the crazier. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, were you talking about The Shining? Reminds me of the stuff that I've heard about Eyes Wide Shut, which is not so much a bunch of like coded messages about whatever was happening in the 70s, but the coded message was happening at the time, which is some crazy billionaire sex party shit.
Yeah, well, if you look at the masks, there's like a Bob Hope mask. It, like when you go to the billionaires,
Bohemian Grove,
like
right?
Yeah. When you go to the fuck party, there's masks of like people that are like somewhat recognizable. Like one of them is Bob Hope. There's a few others, and then the other thing is like he died before he was able to finish the final cut. So Warner Brothers like he died, and then like suddenly right before the cut, it was just like, I get that people die like in inopportune moments, but like the subject matter of the film, he dies of like some COPD related illness, and then Warner Brothers gets to handle like finishing that some cut. And I've heard back and forth. I've heard people in Kubrick's camp them arguing whether or not this is valid, but I've heard that some 30 minutes was cut from the film before it was released to theaters. So it's like
30 minutes,
something like that. But I've heard people that knew that worked with because he had a tight-knit crew. He didn't have like this massive amount of people around him. So I've heard people in his camp say things lending to that could be true, and others saying no, he basically had it done before Warner Brothers got their hands on it. And then other people that would like there's just like conflicting information where you don't get like a satisfying answer. So it's like I have no idea. I can't say that he was
on
killed
some
by
level
Warner
though.
Brothers,
The film does do its job, even if he might have gotten one by the producers there, because I feel like it inspired and in some ways like presaged the Epstein stuff, people circling around Epstein, maybe causing what happened to Epstein to happen to Epstein.
Well, who was Epstein before Epstein? Like that's what I want to know. Yeah, like I guarantee you there were like 3 Epsteins in the 90s.
Because it's a true story, and the people were starting to get privy to it at the time. Is the Franklin scandal? That's a real thing that happened. There was like a blackmail racket from before. Well, I mean,
But the fact that I mean, this is getting into like super. We're getting into deep
No, the
waters
Franklin
here,
scandal is not even that's not under dispute. It's like the
No. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying like when they raided the New York manor that the owner of Victoria's Secret gave Jeffrey Epstein. That then when Epstein was gone, there are photos of the FBI taking black bags, tons of material out of that place where supposedly these rooms are wired with cameras and mics. So because think about it, you get huge industry like corpo leaders, and you get government employees and people in rungs of power. You get them on video having sex with some underage girl, and then you have dirt on them forever. They vote on your policy.
You do. Them.
So it's like, of course.
And then not only that, but you got the buck breaking thing. You got Nick Cannon coming out of the woodwork saying this is a black celebrity issue, and Hollywood's doing this to us because they're gay and they're Jewish. It's like, dude, no, this has been happening. This has been happening everywhere in Hollywood for decades.
Have you heard Cat Williams go off the rails on P. Diddy? All those guys.
Yeah,
there's very similar stuff going on in the music world, the movie world, the politics world. It's just like wherever there's enough rungs of power, there are dark incentives to compromise that power.
What was the Meek Mill fries in his lap in the swimming pool picture?
Dude, I know.
Make a fucking Stanley Kubrick movie about it. That's so fucking weird, man.
Dude,
that's so weird. Kubrick. What are you saying? What is going on?
Could you imagine a modern Kubrick film? Let's say he was in his 30s and had all his faculties, and he made a movie about what was going on now. That movie would.
Oh my god!
It'd be like War of the Worlds.
Yeah. He would take some existing IP and then mind fuck it to death into this.
He would create giant, pandemonium.
This giant Trojan horse of an idea film. It would be. Anyway, I'm getting very excited. This is very fun conversation.
Kubrick rules, man. The other one that I sometimes compare him to is Charlie Kaufman. Not a horror director, but Kubrick rules. Charlie Kaufman. The guy who did the Master and Synecdoche, New York.
Oh, dude. Yeah. The I can never say that New York name, Synecdoche.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Synecdoche, New York. Lily, have you seen that?
I have not.
Heartbreak.
No.
As someone who, my favorite actress in the world is Samantha Morton. It's just so harrowing and weird, but really powerful.
I'll have to put it on the list then.
Seth got me. I finally watched 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yes.
And that was
what a fucking trip.
It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I had always heard about it, of course, like always saw the like references, the memes, etc., and then finally watch it, and I was just so thrilled. And I kept asking so many questions during the movie. I was like, how do they do that?
Almost like a sister movie to The Shining.
They're both just very wonderful films. I have like in this part of my life, I feel like I have I used to be pretty easily entertained. A lot of movies that I didn't really hate or anything. We watched, going back to horror really quick, I have not seen the Purge movies. Like what how many are there? 5 now?
Oh yeah, there's 5.
I've seen the newest one, which is called The Forever Purge, and I was so angry the whole time I watched that. I just did not like that movie.
Yeah, it was like all kinds of it was like a combination of race baiting, political, like current political. It was just like
it just wasn't
they were like setting traps for like all kinds of people in the film to just get like upset, and then it got to the point where it was corny.
It was really like, really cringy and just dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm down to watch the first one. I'm not down with
the first one. I like that one.
Because again, less is more. Stop making sequels of things that don't need sequels. Make something different.
Yeah.
And there's just like, I don't know. I haven't seen the other ones. I've only seen The Forever Purge, which is awful. Please skip that one.
Yeah.
But I just feel like sometimes people just like stretch out these franchises like way too far. I haven't even seen all the Saw movies. I've only seen like 1 and 2, maybe 3. I can't remember.
Isn't Jigsaw back?
Yeah, like the dude has
Oh my
died. Now
God,
he's
this is
back.
He died when I
ridiculous.
was like in high school, I think.
It's
like,
just
certain
so
points.
convoluted that it doesn't even make sense anymore. It's like, oh my
I
God.
haven't
Like-
seen
And
the
it-
original like Hostel and Saw, so I need to do that at some point.
I've seen
Yeah, I
Hostel.
would.
It wasn't my thing at the time, but now it is
Yeah.
kind of. So I went back over all the classic horror movies the past year or so, saw them all for the basically
Yeah,
the
dude,
first time.
the uncut Eli Roth one. There's an extended first Hostel.
So,
Ooh.
Okay,
as
I have
far
seen
as
Cabin in the
Japanese-
Woods, both versions,
Mm-hmm.
or no,
I
Cabin
haven't-
Fever.
It's good.
I've seen Cabin Fever. It's been a long time. I'm pretty sure that's the one I saw. I've not seen Cabin in the Woods, but I want to because it's not what I
I
expected.
don't know.
It to be.
I
I kind of spoiled it. For
I don't think I've
myself,
seen
but,
that one.
It's supposed to be really good, but if you're a fan of Japanese horror,
Yes.
One Missed Call, the original One Missed Call. I think that's what it's. Yeah, that one's
Oh,
great.
Japanese horror is my shit. I'm trying to. I'm trying to watch
Grudge.
this one dude.
Oh, then I can bring up my third one real fast, and then you guys take it away. Pulse. Okay,
Ooh.
so the reason
the
I bring
guy.
that up.
What's his name?
Okay. I don't remember the director's
It's
name.
Kurosawa, something Kurosawa, but not
Is it a
Akira.
Japanese film?
Yes, it is. There's an American one
There's
that's
one called
really stupid.
I haven't seen any of that guy's movies, but I'm
Kenji. Oh no, that's the actor.
Director Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Kiyoshi. Yeah.
So
Highly
the only reason
recommended.
yeah,
I have not seen it.
the only reason I bring it up is because I won't give any spoilers, but they hired I don't know if I should. They hired a ballet actress for a specific what we were talking about, like uncanny, unnatural movement or visuals to do something in that film that is that's the reason it makes it's not like one that I would just sit down and watch forever, but it makes like my kind of higher tiered list is a particular scene in that movie. So I'll leave it at that. So in case anybody hasn't seen it.
Yeah, and then the other Japanese horror movie I like is Occult. It's like kind of I've described it as like the Japanese Blair Witch, but it's got serial killer vibes to it too.
Okay.
Horror found footage is a genre that is like very much so next up. I'm gonna be watching I think I'm gonna watch Blair Witch for the first time tomorrow if I'm not mistaken.
You've never seen it? It's so good.
I like I said at the time, like years ago, horror was never my thing until I made the conscious decision to. I've seen Halloween, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, like all those now. So I'm just trying to learn. But Blair Witch, I should have seen Blair Witch when it first came out. It's very up my alley.
I would say one of the I don't know how it holds up now. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but Paranormal Activity, the first one,
Yep.
scared the shit out of me when I watched it because it's that found footage.
Apparently,
like,
it's very good.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Cannibal Holocaust?
Yes,
No,
unfortunately.
I don't know
Not
if I
fun
could-
experience.
Icy Doom, White Noise was good. I didn't like it when it came out, but I like it now for some reason.
White Noise
with Batman, Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Man, and then there was a weird time period of horror movies. Does anybody remember Fear.com? I only saw it like once, and I was a kid. I was a teenager when I saw it, so it scared me because I was a big old weenie. But there was a scene in that movie that really freaked me out. I was so freaked out by that movie. I think I would laugh now. And then there was also like, oh my gosh. There was a bunch of just weird horror movies that came out in the early to mid 2000s. And a lot of those Japanese horror movies are like late 90s, early 2000s, like The Grudge, The Ring, which I don't think.
Oh yeah.
The first American Ring stands up still.
And then I I've watched The Grudge, and that was one of the things that absolutely I could not deal with. I just did not like the sounds they were making. I didn't like the.
Scary.
I couldn't. I can't. And to this day, it scares me because I don't like looking at an open closet.
Yeah.
That's like dark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely not. Shut the door.
I'll tell. I don't know if I told you. I'll tell you, Adam, where how I watched The Ring. So, I there was a lot of when I was growing up. There's a lot of movies I couldn't watch, and I had The Ring on VHS that I put. You know those shoulder VHS cameras that took the actual VHS that you would put in, like you would get from Blockbuster. They had like the full size VHS camcorders. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I still own one of those actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
I put the Ring tape in it and would watch it with an earpiece.
Oh my God.
And watch it in the viewfinder in my bed at night. And what's even better is the viewfinder was black and white. It was like an old JVC camcorder. I was watching The Ring black and white through an eyepiece, and I got so creeped out. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't remember whenever that was. Whenever it came out shortly, when it was on VHS.
End of middle school.
Gosh.
No, it wasn't high school yet.
So it's some middle school, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. But that I remember being so. I would that feeling where you're so scared you don't want to move, like that. It was awful.
There's this
Very visceral. Yeah.
Yes.
So The Ring, I can't remember the girl's name in Japanese, is Sadako or Sawako, I can't remember. There is a Japanese film that is, you know how there's like Freddy versus Jason? They did that with Sadako versus Sawako. I think that's their names. Of the Grudge Girl, Think, and the Ring Girl. And I want to see it so bad. They like fight.
Yeah.
And I think I would laugh so hard.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah. I want to see that.
I don't remember if
I
I've seen
think
The
I
Grudge.
finally. Yeah, it's fine. Like it's scary, but it's not that. I don't know. I guess it doesn't do it for me where I'm like, oh, okay, I've reached my limit, and now I actually feel scared.
Yeah.
So it's like a healthy dose of getting spooked a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I've finally decided what my number 2 was favorite horror movies. The Descent.
Ooh.
I had to really dig in my memory, but I've rewatched it. I want to say maybe last year. It must have been around Halloween, and it holds up. Like that thing is scary.
Yeah.
And then number 3, I don't know about you guys, but I love a good exorcism/haunting movie. And one that I don't hear about often is The Haunting of Connecticut. And I think it's a great movie. I love it personally.
I think I've seen that.
The priest that does the exorcism goes through like a crisis of faith at the same time, and it's great. I like that it has that little bit of silliness of not taking itself too seriously, but it has its moment, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's like the universes of the Conjuring universe versus the other universe. It's the same guy, and he's in both universes. What is the so there's the
Conjuring, and then
what's the other one?
the doll's name,
Annabelle, and he's also in Insidious, I think.
Insidious.
Is he Insidious?
It's Insidious.
So I think the Annabelle doll is part of the Conjuring universe, I think. And then
but he's in both of those.
He's in both, but he's not the same character. I can't remember the actor.
Yes, that's what I mean.
And I got confused for the longest time because I was like, are these related? They're not. It's just he's just like, I'm just gonna be in both.
He does a lot of horror movies, low budget and high budget. I can't remember his name, but he's always the dad figure in some shape of fashion.
Yeah.
And then we watched. Was it Insidious that we watched, or was it Conjuring?
We watched Insidious.
Fifth.
Wait, what was the one where? Which one was it where the shadow there's like this shadowy figure with two shining eyes, and they shine the light on it, and then the shadowy figure disappears, but the eyes drop, and it was just 2 coins. What was that?
Was that Conjuring? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like Conjuring. Yeah.
That was a good scene. That was like,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah.
And isn't the
first
nun related?
I
Yeah,
don't even
The
know.
Nun,
They're all
Annabelle, and The Conjuring are in the same
Okay.
universe. Yeah.
Okay.
I
It's
need to
very
see The
again,
Conjuring again because I saw that when it first came out, but I might have been
I
half
kind of like
asleep at the
those
time.
movies. Like
I liked it.
the most recent one are kind of cheesy, but I don't know. I like the actors, and yeah, it works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give a cinematic horror movie, and I want to prove my bona fides here.
Go for it.
Have you heard of a movie called Pontypool?
Yes.
No.
I'm really not a horror expert, like I say, but like I saw Rosemary's Baby also when I was like in college, and that
yes.
was like it felt like nothing else could touch it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pontypool is basically a really intense, really dark psychological horror about a radio station.
Ooh. Show me
And
that.
it's also I wouldn't want to spoil it too much. It's from the early 2000s. I think it's got that sort of
I want to check that out.
pre-Shudder vibe. You might hate me for recommending it once you watch it because it's not.
No, I
comfortable.
remember watching it. I remember liking it. I don't remember the hook though, but I remember scenes, and I do like this actor.
I don't remember if there's a lot of gore in it. I don't think there's hardly any gore at all. That's kind of my style. The other movie that I would probably honorable mention is Altered States. Ever seen that?
Oh wait, that sounds super. Oh yeah, the
Guy,
the
he's like
isolation tank.
He's in like grieving because of his parents' death, and then he starts experimenting really hardcore with psychedelics, and then it gets really weird and really freaky, and then it just kind of ends.
Oh my god.
In that same vibe, you might like, if you haven't watched it, Lake Mundo.
No,
I like this
I haven't
movie
heard
a
of
lot.
it. Is it a
is
psychological?
creepy. Yes, psychological horror.
Okay.
It's definitely one that you want to see a
Lake
couple
City
times
Quiet
because it's
Mundo,
just
M-U-N-D-O? D-O?
Mundo, I think. I think that's how it's called. And
We
it's
watched-
like it's scary, and when you watch it a second time, you'll catch those little elements that you're like, oh, fuck, I guess I was being watched the entire time. Great. That's a great
Oh
feeling.
wow. Oh wow. Yeah, that does look. What I'm seeing from the search looks quite unnerving. Is it found footage style?
Like Mundo? I don't think it is. I think it's more of like a mockumentary.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly, it's more of a mockumentary.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
you want to
absolutely
watch that before bed?
No, I do not.
Oh, come on! I want
Yeah, I got
Peacefully
horror movies
tonight.
on deck tomorrow. But I was gonna say, Evangelion is. I swear to God, I'm gonna watch it soon. Then I'll
It's
be
like a
cool-
psychological fucked up. I don't even know. I can't even begin. And then there's the end of Evangelion, and then there's the new movies, which I've seen 2 of those movies, but because they're just remaking the series,
Yeah.
like just a retelling in a movie form. The end of Evangelion is showing what's happening. Actually, I don't want to spoil that. Never mind. But it's like it's great. It's mind blowing. I think I cried when I watched it. I was just like in shock the whole time, jaw dropped, and I was just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, Neon Genesis Evangelion is not a happy show.
I have
at
some
all.
sad people in my life who I guess would hate me if I never watched it. So it's gonna have to happen. Soon.
Yeah, you gotta. It's great. You will hate Shinji. He's awful. That's the main character, but
Then I'll be able to understand all the memes from Fish Tank season 2.
yeah, you'll understand Fish Tank season 2 now and like why.
Incidental alien
Did they
torque art.
put him in? Did he get in the chair and do like the?
I
he
think
just sits in
so.
the chair?
I think so.
Dude, not Shinji from Fish Tank. Shinji from Evangelion.
I know the. I think I know the
simultaneously
image.
Feel horrible and hate him at the same time. He is just technically a kid he's like a 14-year-old boy who's going through some shit. But my gosh, he is so unlikable, which is probably why I like that show so much, because he's just
She
so.
does like to hate watch.
I mean, he's just. It's not it's like not like a unlikable character, like this is a badly written show. He's just unlikable as like, but also you
As
feel
a person.
yeah, but you feel for him at the same time, because like I feel bad for not liking him, because he's just a child, like he is a child being forced into a pretty awful situation, and there's some toxic family stuff going on. It's very, the relationships this kid has are pretty toxic. I don't think there's really any positive relationships in that show, to be honest. So
speaking of not positive relationships, am I being gaslit, or is Shinji a male prostitute again? Is that real?
I think he himself said something about there was like a comment on a specific client, so I think that might be right.
Because he's been posting, yeah, but well, he was like, he's also like, I like how he says like he doesn't have to really do much because the older women that hire him just kind of like want dates, which sounds about right.
Like, there's rental boyfriends.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
And so
does that mean he's
school.
living in Japan?
Yeah, he went back to Japan. The way I've read a few posts, and I've been told that he is back in Japan. He stopped school, went back, because he was doing that whole thing right before Blood Games where it was like, you know, I'm sorry, and then I was like, maybe this is, and then he wore he had who's butt boy, Andrew Tate. He had Andrew Tate on in the background, and he's like talking trash with sunglasses. I'm like, this has to be a wind up for Blood Games. And then he never made an appearance, and then I find out he's in Japan being a call boy again, and it's like,
I think my take on it is either the cultural shock, because in Japan they're pretty reserved culture, like they're, you know, even though there's a lot of what we think is like weird, strange things, you know, like rent-a-boyfriends and things like that, and you know, other things, but mostly the social aspect of it, they're pretty reserved. And I think doing something like Fish Tank was probably a huge just cultural shock for him, and the attention that came with
on
it.
his family.
I don't know, but maybe, I mean, or I just think he couldn't handle, which I don't blame him. I mean, like, I'm sure.
Oh, it's like a polite society. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but like I think he just couldn't handle like the attention from it. Maybe that's my guess, and it probably caused him to have an emotional breakdown.
Well, I know
honestly.
that he had a lot of money woes because there was like an economic meltdown in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
the exchange rate went all haywire.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Huh.
Pretty rough.
All right,
But-
guys. Sorry,
Yep.
I'm falling asleep over here.
No,
No
yeah,
worries.
it's about quitting time for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
This was a fun episode that it
It
really
was
flew by.
awesome.
Yeah.
We gotta do it again sometime.
I'm really happy you guys had me
Absolutely.
on. It was very chill the
Hell
entire time.
yeah.
Thanks for coming on and hanging out.
Yeah.